Happy Monday, folks. Good to see you guys. Yeah. Good morning, folks. Glad to see you all. It has been a couple of days since I was live. Had a lot going on, and actually was recuperating. My body said lay down, so I did. Even if I didn't want to, I absolutely did. No choice about that. So glad to have you guys in here on a Monday, and look forward to this conversation. Good morning, Tam Bam. How are you? You doing okay? Cam, I don't believe you. The lack of punctuation and emojis says I don't believe that it is a happy Monday. Good morning, Tam Pam. What's up, Farah? Hey, Sue. What's up, Carrie? How are you? I hope you guys are doing well. Something really weird just popped up, and I don't know what it was. See, this is what happens when I leave TikTok for a day or two. And all of a sudden there are other things that are popping up at me and I don't know what those things are. Good morning, Lovey. Yeah, Cam. I resemble that remark. Hey, Amy. What's up, Carla? Yeah, like I definitely resemble that remark. Good morning, Tony. Folks, if you're watching me anywhere other than TikTok, please make sure that you say hello in the chat, or I will not be able to see that you are greeting me. If you're on Substack and IG, I've never been able to see your chats on here. It's one of the reasons why I am considering a different platform than Restream, but we shall see. Right, for right now, it is what it is. It's what we're using. Good morning, Penny GF. Hey, Win Dixie. Appreciate you and Witch looking through things for me. I still have to go back through and fix whatever you guys sent me. You were in withdrawals. Hello, Raja. You were in withdrawals without me. Yeah, listen. It didn't matter what I did, whether it was coffee, Red Bull, whatever. Nothing was cutting through. Like literally, my body was like, "Take your ass to sleep," whether I wanted to or not. Like that's a for real thing. It was a lot this weekend. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why I have so listen, I haven't found anybody. Thanks, Carl. I haven't found anybody close by that I really like go to for massages or anything like that. And I had a friend of mine that had gifted me a massage because my birthday was last month, and so we finally went Saturday. If you know anything about me, though, you know that I've had like multiple knee surgeries and I've had some back procedures, and I tend to have a pretty significant discomfort level every day. And if you know anything about like really intense massages, it will send your body into like fight or flight mode. Like it's very stressful to your muscles and to whatever. And no matter how much water I drank, no matter how much whatever, my body had a very difficult time recuperating. And when I say I'm talking about extra strength rapid release Tylenol on top, like alternating that with Advil, like it just was not great. It was not great, and it still is not. Yeah, Cam, it was really bad. And I say bad because I hurt all the time anyway, and this just was very intense on top of all of that. So it was a little bit of a rough recovery. Good morning, Wilma. So thanks, Jamie, for boosting. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks, Corey P. Appreciate that. So yeah, no, especially when someone thinks that that their job is to get out some of the deepest of my knots and they're in one session. Yeah, good luck with that. And so yeah, it can be rough. And so it was rough. And I wasn't expecting it to be as rough as it was, to be honest. So there's that. All right. So listen, I'm pretty much everywhere right now. Yeah, no, Penny GF, definitely not good. Definitely not good. Like I tried. When I tell you I literally tried my darndest. Yeah, no girl. I could drink a Red Bull and go straight to sleep. Yes, 100%. Appreciate it, Michelle. Good morning. Good to see you as well. So listen, I was really thinking about what graphic I wanted to go with today and what was the message that I wanted to communicate. Because as you can imagine, there's a lot out there to choose from, right? And this just really keeps sticking with me, right? Um, Oh, I love that. And I really want people to understand that while you are busy focusing on culture wars and on religious differences and on differences of opinion in terms of how an individual should or should not live their particular life, they are 100% absolutely consolidating power, and taking away the very most basic of things for individuals. And so we're going to talk about that again today. I talked about on Saturday, I want to say, was it Saturday, Friday or Saturday? I talked a little bit about the bill that was passed, the appropriations that was passed that took additional money away from SNAP benefits. We're going to talk about that again today. And then I need to give you a little bit of a precursor as to a special 5 p.m. broadcast that I'm doing on this Wednesday. So we're going to talk about that as well. And so let me just go ahead and kind of set the stage for conversations. You all have, you guys have, you have heard me talk about, love that Penny GF. You guys have heard me talk about, just kind of not repeating misinformation, not amplifying misinformation, not doing those types of things. So one of the things that I will not be doing this morning is playing any of the audio from the Meet the Press interview with the President of the United States yesterday. I don't find that there's anything. Good morning, Carol. I don't find that there's anything beneficial that could come from playing that clip. Good morning, Wasim. Right? There's nothing that the President of the United States said yesterday that is actually fact-based. Like there were zero facts that came out of his mouth. And I just don't feel the need to amplify falsehoods. So I'm not going to. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Reed. So I will not be sharing that audio clip today, nor will I be repeating some of the claims that he made. What I will be talking about is maybe the dangers of that entire situation, what that looks like for us as a country. I am going to talk about the national security and the international security risks that things like that can involve. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning, folks. So we are going to talk about it from that perspective. But other than that, that's probably all I'm going to say with regard to him. Good morning, Terry. So you all know that I'm a fan of Liz Oyer. How many of you all are not familiar with Liz Oyer? If you are not familiar with Liz Oyer, please put a 1 in the chat. Will you give him some food, Sissy? Okay. So I love her. You guys know I'm a big fan. So Liz Oyer is the former pardon attorney from the Department of Justice. And Liz Oyer was she was in there during the Biden and the Trump administration. Buenos días, Mr. Barrios. And a situation happened last year where she was asked to reinstate Mel Gibson's ability, yes, Dax, Mel Gibson's ability to own a firearm. And he lost that privilege because of a domestic violence charge. And because of the circumstances of that case, Liz refused to reinstate his rights to have a firearm because according to law, he's not supposed to have one. Because she refused to do this thing, she was fired by the Department of Justice. And after she was fired by the Department of Justice for refusing to give him back access to a firearm when he's legally not supposed to have access to it, she began to just talk about the truth. Like, this is what happened. This is why I got fired. This is whatever. And when she went public and talked about those things, she received a tremendous amount of threats and all types of different things, with people kind of saying, keep your mouth shut, whatever. And she has not done that. What she does a brilliant job of is providing some context, some framework, and information with what's currently happening in the DOJ, and what does that look like for us, and why should it matter, and what are the cases. And so, to give you an example, one of the things that she does is she keeps track of who pardons are given to. And she keeps track of, if pardons are given to someone, is this the first time they've gotten pardons? Have they have other charges or cases like this previously? Like, what have they done since then? Like, all of those different types of things. And she posts about them on her social media platforms, as well as her Substack. I'm going to talk to you all today specifically about, thank you, Mimi, for feeding Titan. I'm going to share with you all today a post that she wrote up on her Substack about Todd Blanche. Now, if you have already seen this article by Liz Oyer referencing Todd Blanche on her Substack, please drop a 1 in the chat for me if you're familiar with it already. I half did my hair today, and then I half didn't, but it's okay. Yes, Nico, it is powerful. It is. And so I felt like it was a better use of my time today to talk about it rather than to repeat the audio of the President of the United States on Meet the Press. Imagine that. Okay, so I'm going to go over that with you all. You did, but you didn't finish reading it? Okay, no worries. I'm going to help you out. Jerry Bear, I got you. I'm going to do it for you. Good morning, MG Brock. And let me also say this, okay? I got a text message from an acquaintance of mine. And I say an acquaintance of mine because I truly don't know this person like as a friend. I would only categorize them as an acquaintance and someone that I haven't talked to, I don't know, 7-8 years. Okay. And I got a message over the weekend. I'm telling y'all this so that I don't forget. And then I'm going to circle back around to Liz Oyer. Okay. And so this person reached out to me and said, hey, listen, I thought about you. Appreciate you guys. And they said, I thought about you because, sometimes, well, first they said, congratulations on, I don't know, your platform growing and your following and what have you. And they said sometimes, that they're able to watch, that they're able to catch my lives. And that one of the things that they appreciated about them was that I'm very fact-based and like to present accurate information. And they immediately thought about me because they are involved in the development of a data center in Florida. And they said that people were very, very concerned about data centers, and there was a lot of information, and he would like to just give people facts from a developer's perspective as to what that process is, what it looks like, what it does or doesn't involve, what some people hear, and the fear behind it, and all of that. And I don't mind to share with you all what I said directly to this individual, because obviously we're going to do this thing on Wednesday. So what I was asked is, he asked, could he join me on a live to talk about it from his perspective, to quote unquote, share the facts and share the truth. And I immediately said, so listen, you know me, words matter. And one of the things that I'm automatically noticing in your verbiage is you're using the words facts and truth, specifically with regard to your position. And one of the things that I would be, mindful of is that other people also have their own truth. Truth is subjective. Facts are not. And so while and I said, because he went through this process, and he was telling me about like how there's this process and how many years that it takes, and why there's all these things that have to happen. And I just said, and my response was, well, and here's what I would say to you about that is, while you're saying to me as a developer that there are all these hoops that have to go through, and that if these standards aren't met, then the thing doesn't happen. What I would say to you is that there are also other people that turn on their water and water doesn't come out, and that's also a fact. So while you say that nothing else happens if it doesn't meet the standards, it's also a fact that other people are turning on the faucets and either there's no water or sometimes there's brown water. So, you know, I would just, and he said something back to me about, well, that story, and I said, nope. I said, so understand what you just said. When you told me about your position, you used the word facts and truth. When I shared with you about something else that was very specific, you said story, and it's not a story because I have the facts and it's also truth. So this is the deal. Okay. So I agreed to do a 5 p.m. live on Wednesday with this developer in Florida. I have asked him to send me all pertinent background information and any paperwork specific to this particular center, because that's what he's involved in. I'm also going to talk about it on not just that one particular center, but also what we see happening with data centers across the country, as a whole. And then we're going to go from there. Between today and tomorrow, I will determine whether or not I'm going to invite anybody else, or if I want to have this be part one in a multiple part series. I don't know yet. Like I said, this was not a session that I sought. It was someone that asked me to do it. And so I think it's an important conversation to have, whether or not here's what I feel like. What I feel like is that this will become a part one of a multiple part deal, right? So I created an event on TikTok as well as the other social media platforms so that you can click that you're going to attend, so that you can RSVP and all of that. And then we will kind of get into that. Okay. So, no, Wednesday at 5. Terry, Wednesday, the 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So good morning, James. So I just wanted to let you all know that this was a thing that is going to occur, and that we are going to have this conversation. And I just got sent the documentation and information from him this morning. So I will then look at that and then do a little bit digging this evening and then go from there. Okay. And that's it. I'll be very, y'all know me, I'm very transparent. Data centers isn't something that I've dug all the way into. It is something that I do have significant concerns about. It is something that I have seen the impact of, and not just from data centers, but you all know where I'm from. We have Eastman Chemical Company. And, what I have seen historically speaking is that corporations of all kinds tend to operate at the expense of the people in the local community, and that's a problem for me, right? Sue, I don't know where your small town is, but so it doesn't matter to me. I think there's a problem. I think that there's multiple levels to this, right? I think that number one is it's the overall impact, right, across the country as a whole. I think that there is one of the things that James, I don't know what you mean when you say Eastman is struggling, so everyone is. In what way? Yeah, I hear you guys. Oh. Um, Trying to read comments at the same time while I wait on people to respond. Yeah. One of the things that I think is I don't have any thoughts on the president wanting to attend a next game. I don't have any thoughts about whether or not the president of the United States attends a game. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. I did like the only time that I have a conversation as it pertains to the president of the United States is when it comes to the actual things that impact the country itself, right? You know, or geopolitics. As for the rest of it, I don't give a shit if he goes to a game or not. I don't care. I just don't. I don't care. Um, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know what you mean, Jamie. Jamie, I think my concern is that so when I think about Eastman Chemical Company, what I think of is the fact that Eastman is a $10 billion organization, and in the last 12 quarters, they have been out of compliance with the Clean Air Act, 11 out of 12 quarters, and they have been fined less than $1 million. They've been fined $600,000 in over the last 12 quarters of in being out of compliance with clean air. So I don't. For me, that's what I care about, right? In terms of struggling, I don't even know what that means, right? For a $10 billion corporation like Eastman, I don't know what that means to struggle, and I don't know that their stockholders do. That's for sure. And you know, so again, what just historically speaking, you all, whether you are talking about data centers, chemical companies, oil and gas industries, pipelines, no matter what you're speaking about, right? What history has taught us and what we have seen repeatedly is that corporations will absolutely take advantage of and negatively impact the environment and the lives of the people surrounding their corporations in exchange for large profits and increases for their stockholders. Like that's just it. So good morning, Slacky. So for me, this idea that we have to bend over backwards for corporations in order for them to provide jobs is asinine to me, because here's what I know is that those people are not going to go out of business. They will take a loss in their profits before they will completely go under, because rich people like to stay rich. So, this idea that if you make corporations operate in a manner that is responsible to the environment and to the people around them, that somehow or another they're just going to dry up and go somewhere else. Well, what I would say to you is that is why every single state and every single locality needs to operate in a manner that requires them to operate in the best interest of the people, right? And if everyone started to imagine just what would happen if our governments decided to put people ahead of corporations. Imagine what would happen if the United States of America decided that the human beings that are here are actually worth more than the corporations and have more rights. Imagine what kind of country we could potentially live in at that point in time. You know, good morning, Syrian. And so that's kind of where I stand on it. And Yeah, appreciate it, Mr. Mine. And so that's kind of my point. I am not an expert in data centers, right? And I will do my due diligence over the next 48 hours to get up to speed, and then we'll go from there. What's what the Trump administration is doing? You said that's what the Trump administration is doing. What is what the Trump administration is doing? Be specific, please. Putting people first. In what way? Give me an example. Good morning, Salad. How are you?
Morning.
Morning. So, in what way?
In the Make America Healthy Again campaign.
Okay, well, that's a campaign. Can you be specific about something that Make America Healthy Again has done that actually puts the health of people first?
Sure, they've already removed 3 harmful chemical dyes from our foods, and they're currently investigating and steering the federal government to properly label exactly what ultra-processed foods are, in order to have a stronger position in regulating it and litigating these corporations and getting this food out of our grocery stores.
So, can you share with me how you think the Defense Production Act that the president signed, the executive order that would protect companies like Monsanto with the glyphosate? How do you think that is helping protect the people? Because that specific executive order would not only, I mean, it goes so far as to not only allow the glyphosate to be put into our into our food and into our environment, but also to protect those companies from being sued, from legal accountability. How does that help?
Well, there's going to be legal protections against being sued, because once we make the shift and we do define ultra processed foods specifically,
but wait, we already know. So wait, hold on one second. I'm specifically asking you about glyphosate.
Okay, yeah. So again, once we define glyphosate and how it's impacting our food, once we define ultra processed foods in general, once we have a
but we can't do that. I'm not talking.
I'm trying to answer you.
Okay, but hold on, wait, because I don't want to mix the two things together. I'm not asking you about once we do something else, because glyphosate has already been defined. We know what glyphosate is. Right? We know what it is. We know what it does. We know whatever. And so what I'm specifically asking you is, how does the executive order signed by the president earlier this year concerning glyphosate help people?
Okay, so it allows these corporations who make our food, and it allows them to not get put underwater. So as we approach the windfall that is going to be defining ultra-processed foods and having to completely shift their entire business model, this is going to protect them against being sued into oblivion, to the point where it would be a massive disruption to our food chain, the supply chain of our food.
But what I ask about, but wait, the question that I'm not asking you, how does the executive order protect the corporations? I already know that. Like, I literally already said that. I'm asking how protecting corporations and getting rid of the regulations against glyphosate, how does that help the American people?
I just told you it prevents the oncoming disruption to the supply chain of our food. If we have a major disruption in the supply chain of our food, then people are going to go hungry, right? So that's how it is helping.
Does it matter if what you eat kills you? The question that I'm asking you, I'm not asking you about corporations. What I'm asking you is, let me start basic. Can you share with me your understanding of glyphosate and glyphosate based herbicides and what they do?
Yeah, it's a Roundup weed killer, right? Like, I mean, it's a pesticide, things like that, right?
No, I'm asking you, what is glyphosate?
Like, what's the chemical composition of it? I mean, I don't know.
No, I'm asking you, what is glyphosate and why are people concerned about it?
Yeah, I don't know the exact chemical composition. Do you?
So I didn't ask for the exact chemical composition of it. I said, what does it do, right? And why are people concerned about it?
Yeah, it's like a weed killer. right?
I mean, they have it in weed killer. That's not all that it's in, but I'm asking you, what does it do? Why are people concerned about it?
Kills weeds.
But do you think people would be concerned about it if all it did was kill weeds?
I imagine there's some health implications where if it is in our food, it can cause harm to our bodies.
What do you think those harms might be?
Probably cancer, any number of things.
Sure. So do you think that do you think that if we know of a chemical substance that is being used in a large scale fashion in our agriculture across the across the country, and that specific ingredient, chemical, if you will, has been known to cause significant, substantial health problems, why do you think it would be good for people's health to reduce or eliminate the regulations around it, allow more of it to be utilized, and then protect the companies that are using it? Why would that be something that would be putting people first? How does that put people first?
Well, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency officially maintains the glyphosate is not likely to be a carcinogen to humans. So, I mean, if you're contending that their science, then you can contend this.
No, that's not the question that I asked you.
Okay, if it is not a carcinogen, then it's like your entire premise of your question is mute.
So what you just said is not true.
That's the EPA.
So listen, what we're not going to talk about is a change in. What we're not going to do is talk about a change in an administrative classification and not talk about science. We're not going to do that. So, for example, could you go back and tell me what does the National Institute of Health say about glyphosate on the nervous system?
Does the NIH contend with the EPA's findings?
I'm asking you, do you know what it says? So listen, if you're going to say what the EPA says in terms of classification, so let's just be clear about what the EPA can do, okay? So the EPA is the executive branch of the federal government. It can put out a policy and say, we deem this to be safe. We deem this to be bad. But that doesn't mean that the science or that the data actually backs up the thing that they claim. So in order for us to look at the science and the data, we would need to go to places that have actually done the studies, right? So my question to you is, what does the National Institutes of Health, what do the articles on the National Library of Medicine, what does science and data and medicine say about the impacts of glyphosate?
Well, they haven't released an official stance on it, but
who hasn't?
But is the NIH.
So the NIH. Here's what I'm going to try it again. Okay, the National Institutes of Health has then go to the National Library of Medicine and just type in glyphosate.
Yeah, National Institute of Health does not issue independent regulatory.
I didn't ask if they issued that.
Carcinogen.
I didn't ask you that. What I said is, what do the studies contained out at the National Institutes of Health on the National Library of Medicine? I ask you, what do those studies show?
They show potential outcomes in small studies. Yeah.
No, not small studies. I'm asking. So let's go. Since we're going to do this, right? Yes, Sissy.
There's a study.
One minute, please. Hold on. What, baby? Okay, you got to wait 1 minute. Okay. All right. So, give me 1 second.
The National Toxicology Program findings. The National Toxicology Program, which is closely integrated with the NIH, focus on testing pure chemical elements versus commercial mixtures.
So hold on a second. Salad.
Does not indicate significant permanent changes.
You're going to do me a favor, and you're not going to do that. Okay, don't be rude. Okay, let's just don't do that. if you go to, there's a whole slew of them, right? I did say, give me a minute, Kenny Kiss. I was handling the baby. But there is give me the date of what you're reading.
Well, this is a from the National Toxicology Program findings. This is
the National Toxicology Program findings. From where?
2026. It's on the National Institute of Health.gov. Yeah.
But I'm asking you, what is the title of it? Good morning, Witch.
Okay, the title is Glyphosate and Glyphosate Formulations. The National Toxicology Program, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, so glyphosate and glyphosate what?
It's on ntp.niehs.nih.gov.
Hold on. Can you just do the title again? Glyphosate and glyphosate.
And glyphosate formulations.
Formulations. Okay, so is that a study specifically around the impact of glyphosate? Because what I'm looking at, so let me just show, so here's what I'm looking exactly what you're looking at. Okay. So if we look at, first findings, evaluation of the herbicide glyphosate, right? Using in vitro assays, right? That's all it says. And it's a comparative investigation of the potential of glyphosate and glyphosate formulations to cause oxidative stress and DNA damage in human skin and liver cell systems. So this is a specific article of looking specific on two things: human skin and liver cell damage. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what did they find?
What did they find?
Yeah. What did the studies find?
I already read the NTP's testing indicated that exposure to pure isolated glyphosate on its own does not induce insignificant permanent changes to DNA or cause highly pronounced oxidative stress.
Okay. So, and which paragraph are you in?
Which paragraph? No, that's the findings of the whole study. It's not just one paragraph.
Well, you would need to read the whole thing.
Why are you hyperfixating on glyphosate?
I'm not hyperfixating. You chose a study. And so I'm looking at it. So what paragraph are you on? Because I'm literally on the screen with you. I'm on the same page. So I'm asking you, what portion are you looking at? Or did you just pull it up via Chat GPT?
Here we go. Oxidative stress studies. It's labeled there. Exposure to glyphosate alone did not cause pronounced oxidative stress responses.
I'm asking you, what paragraph are you on? Why is this difficult?
I'm not going to count the paragraphs.
Well, why not? It's not that long.
Underneath oxidative, there's a big old thing.
Yep. So did you go to the genotoxicity studies? Did you do that one first? Because it said, what did the studies find? And so it gave you genotoxicity studies, and then it gave you oxidative stress studies, right? Which were two different ones. And it gives you
genotoxicity studies. It says glyphosate and phosphonic acid, a microbial metabolite of glyphosate, did not cause permanent changes to DNA, such as gene mutations or chromosomal damage.
Where at? Hold on a second. She fell. Where? You got a boo-boo? Let me see. Okay. You all right? Okay. You okay? There you go. All right, I'll hop up there.
I summarized both the what it says underneath the genotoxicity studies and what it says under the oxidative stress studies. I summarized both of them in a single sentence. Now you're having me go directly to each sentence, but it's just saying the same thing that I already said.
Okay, so
yeah.
Let me just. I'm going
to summarize both of them.
I'm going to finish. Hold on a second. Yeah, because I didn't ask you to summarize it, right? It would be very difficult to summarize the entirety of the study, but I'll just give you what it says. So just so that everyone is clear, because I don't like to just like handpick little things out. So it says human exposure to glyphosate usually occurs in the form of glyphosate-based formulations, GBFs, Few studies have made side-by-side comparisons of the toxicity of glyphosate and GBFs using the same experimental methods. NTP compared the toxicity of both glyphosate and glyphosate formulations using the same methods. So this is a comparison of glyphosate and glyphosate formulations using the same methods. And so the goals were to, number one, evaluate whether glyphosate causes genotoxicity or damage to DNA using the bacterial reverse gene mutation assay, which is an Ames test, and an in vitro micronucleus assay to detect chromosomal damage, and a multiplex DNA damage assay that distinguishes whether chromosomal damage is due to chromosome breaks or changes in chromosome number. These studies were conducted using human TK6 cells, a cell line that is recommended by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development for in vitro genetic toxicity assays. And number two, the goal was to evaluate whether glyphosate induces oxidative stress, the harm that cells, I'll have to read that in a minute. The harm that cells and tissues experience when overwhelmed with production of free radicals that can damage protein and DNA. These studies were conducted using several high-throughput screening assays with differential human liver cells and immortalized human skin cells. So again, specific to human skin, specific to livers, right? And what did they find? I'm going to read it for you. It says, I'm going to finish. Hold on one moment, please. Because this part's important. Because this is the one that you chose. So I'm just going to go over using the study that you chose. And here's what it says. Glyphosate and aminomethyl phosphonic acid, a microbial metabolite of glyphosate, did not cause permanent changes to DNA, such as gene mutations or chromosomal damage. These kinds of changes to DNA are often associated with increased risk for cancer. The highest concentration of glyphosate use was comparable to an adult man drinking about 16 ounces of this glyphosate-based formulation that contains 41%, right? And then it says, in NTP studies, some glyphosate-based formulations cause DNA damage.
Yes.
Because glyphosate itself did not cause DNA damage in the tests that were used, the DNA damage, I'm going to fucking finish reading. Don't interrupt, please. The DNA damage likely was caused by other components of the formulations. Herbicide of the formulations. What kind of formulations are they? They are glyphosate. They are glyphosate formulations. Yes, so herbicide product labels list active ingredients like glyphosate, but other components of formulations are considered inert for regulatory purposes and are not reported due to confidential business information protection for companies. Yes. Oh, imagine this. So do you think that it would not be a good idea to protect these companies?
It would be.
Do we think it would be a good idea to not protect the companies, yes or no?
Not to focus on glyphosate like you are doing.
It would not to be what?
It would be a better idea to focus on.
So listen, no, I asked you to tell me how the president was putting people first. You've yet to do that.
You focus on it, then you pivot. You kept.
No, I asked you about one. I asked you about one executive order, and I asked you to explain to me how that executive order was putting the people first.
And I said, the Make America Healthy Again initiative is putting Americans first.
And I said, tell me how this goes along with that. Well, a lot of people do.
Yes, but there are more.
Yeah. So again,
in our ultra processed foods than glyphosate.
So let me be clear about something, Sal. So first, this is something this is really important. Okay. So, when you talk about ultra processed foods, yes. Okay. I'm just going to share this with you all, folks. One of my favorite creators, and one of my favorite experts on this subject, her name is Jessica Nurick. For those of you all who are not familiar with Jessica, Dr. Jessica Nurick, she is absolutely brilliant and amazing, especially when she takes apart some of the focus on ultra processed foods and things like that. Yeah, she's amazing, right? So one of the things that's really, really important, let me go over here and find her real quick for you guys. Um,
Are you saying that you like ultra processed foods because this doctor said so?
she never said that. And try not being ridiculous.
Well, I'm just asking, like,
Well,
why are
don't
you
ask.
focusing on the doctor?
If you'll hush and
What
let me
if-
finish, then you'll hear what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
That would be amazing. Would love that. So I'm gonna give you guys just a couple because she is an expert in glyphosates, and along with, oh my God, so many other things. I am not. So one of the things that I don't pretend to do is get on the internet and pretend to be an expert on.
You just did with glyphosates.
I did not. I asked you a question, and then I read a study that you brought up, Salad. So do me a favor and be respectful. All right. So I'm going to show. I'm talking. I'm asking you very quickly. I'm gonna ask you once again. Don't interrupt. Thanks. Appreciate that. So I'm going to show you just a couple of things that I want you all, and I highly encourage everyone to follow her. 100%. So, and I'm just picking out a couple, like literally, I'm just grabbing a few that I'm going to show for you all. Oh wait, here's one more. She's so good. So, all right. So I'm just going to show you guys just a couple of these really quickly. And then I'll let you kind of follow her for yourself so that you can stay informed. And I'm just picking out a couple to show you what happens when you have, right, Amy, her, when you have an expert talking about things rather than other folks talking about things. All right. So this is her, and she's amazing. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys over here. Maybe this is the one that I'm on. This is the one that I'm on. All right, so here we go. And let me turn it up. So there we go. Here we go. You ready, guys? Whoops. Go.
And diagnoses of celiac disease increased over time. And this person is using that information in this social media post to imply that one of those things causes the other. But this is a correlation, and it does not say anything about causation. Graphing two variables that have both increased over time and using that graph to imply causation is one of the most effective ways to spread propaganda on social media. Unless you know that correlation does not equal causation and you demand actual evidence for a claim like that. Because a correlation just means that two things tend to change together over time or across observations, and it does not mean that one of those things causes the other. For example, here's another strong correlation graphed over time. As organic food sales went up, so did autism diagnoses. If I wanted to spread propaganda, I would present this data and suggest that perhaps the organic pesticides used in organic farming was causing autism, even though there's no evidence to suggest that's true. I could also graph increases in organic food sales with increases in celiac disease and make the same argument if I wanted to spread propaganda. Charts like this look persuasive. They feel scientific, but they shortcut the entire scientific process of determining causation. We should use this kind of observational data to generate hypotheses and assess causation with scientific research. We should absolutely not suggest that one of those things causes the other simply because they both increased over the same period of time. And a lot of accounts on social media will do that, and you got to be aware of it.
Okay,
This is a graph
I'm going to stop this one, and I'm going to show you another one. So this one is specifically about you guys understand the difference. So if I just were to keep showing you what she talks about, like literally this.
Ranch dressing, and could you just sprinkle in a little bit of antifreeze? That sounds crazy, right?
Well, kind of, but what I'm stuck on is why is ranch dressing in my antifreeze? Some kind of like Hidden Valley conspiracy or something. Just kidding. Here's something I never thought I'd say. Antifreeze is not in salad dressing. This stems from misunderstanding chemistry. Substances can have different uses depending on their chemical properties and concentrations. There is an ingredient, propylene glycol, that's used in some salad dressings as an emulsifier, and it's also used in antifreeze as an environmentally friendly, non-toxic alternative to ethylene glycol. The key difference is how it's used and at what concentration. It's well studied, found to be safe, and used in food products all around the world. For example, the European Food Safety Authority reaffirmed its safety in its latest review in 2018. Just because there's an ingredient that's found in salad dressing and antifreeze doesn't mean that antifreeze is in salad dressing, or that salad dressing is in antifreeze.
Amen, Jess. So, folks, if you don't follow her, I swear on everything. So, guys, the whole reason I'm sharing her with you is this is what it looks like when someone is an expert in their field. This is Dr. Jessica Nurick. She's amazing when it comes to talking about ultra processed foods, whether it's glyphosates, whether it's dyes, whether it's all this stuff about baby formulas. And you'll have people talk about, what's in baby formulas, what's not in baby. She is incredible. It is her expertise. It's her field of study. It's all she does. And she's amazing. So what Dani does is not going to do is argue with you about science and data. And the reason why I'm not is because I follow experts who know the science and the data and the medicine. And so here's what I know for sure. What I know for sure is that I'm still talking. I'm talking. So what I know for sure, folks, okay, is that what we are doing by deregulating corporations, what we are doing by allowing PFAS and forever chemicals and all those types of things isn't good overall for people, right? It's usually not a good idea when you take a dude who has been in the oil and gas industry forever and you put him in charge of the EPA. Like, it's typically not a good sign that you're going to be moving in the best direction for people. So, yeah, there's a whole, oh my God. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There's a whole nother article. No, it's not. And when I am done, I will let you know. When I am done, I will let you know. When I am done, I will let you know.
Okay, can I talk for 10 minutes?
No, when I am done, I will let you know. No, if you want to talk for 10 minutes, go start your own live. That's what you can do. No. Nope, you cannot. All right. So there was how many of you all are familiar with the Lancet? Give me 1 second. Do you guys know what the Lancet is? I learned about this from her as well. So the Lancet it's a, oh, you don't know? Okay. So listen, so Jessica told me about this. It's fantastic. I said it like she's my friend. She didn't tell me, but she talked about it. But before I forget, I do want to put this in nope, I don't want that. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm a cookies girl. I only do like the necessary cookies. But anyway, so the Lancet doesn't do, yeah, it's a fantastic source. And it's a scientific source and all the things. And so this is something that, oops, let me take this down. This is not something that they would normally do. If you've never seen this, let me share this with you guys over here. This, they've never done. When you talk about Maha being this raving success for people, this article lays out in the entire first year how horrible a job this administration has done when it comes to the health and well-being of people in this country. So I highly recommend that you go here and check this out, that you look at the entire full issue on your own. But it's astounding that they even did this, but just so that everyone knows, this is something everyone should read, and I will put it in my link tree. I wanted to tell you that before I forgot, because y'all know my brain. Okay, so salad.
The evidence against these foods is so definitive that a massive global...
No one is talking about ultra-processed foods.
10 million people...
Nobody's talking about ultra-processed foods.
Consumption directly...
Nobody's talking about ultra-processed foods. Nobody is talking about ultra-processed foods.
See how you're interrupting me before?
I am, because we've already, because nobody is arguing with you, because no one is arguing with you about ultra-processed foods. I did not say that ultra-processed foods are good for you.
Yes, and...
I did not say that. So why are you arguing about them?
Trying to get them
Why
out.
are you arguing about them? Except that they're not.
The administration is trying to get them out of our grocery
Except
stores.
they're
That's
not.
the whole point.
Except they're not.
You're just saying that, but you're not right.
Okay.
They're
Well,
asking to put these off, get these off the shelves. That's what they're doing.
no,
We
they're
should put
not.
Americans first.
No, they're not.
Yeah, yes.
Tell me.
they are.
Okay, so okay. Name one specific thing. Name one specific action that the administration has taken to get ultra processed foods off the shelves, because they've had a year and a half and they're still there.
Okay, one specific action. So, okay, RFK is directing the FDA and other health institutes to perform studies on these things so that they can make a legal federal definition of ultra processed foods in order to label them all and mandate, like giant warning labels on all of the foods, like they do with cigarettes. You remember how they did that with cigarettes, where they had to label the dangers of cigarettes and everything? He's pushing for these comprehensive studies to be done in order to federally define and legally define these things so that we can do the same thing against ultra processed foods.
Okay, so let me just give you guys, so as part of the NOVA classification system in 2009, ultra processed foods, UPFs, are defined as industrial formulations made entirely or mostly from substances extracted from foods containing little to no whole foods and combined with cosmetic additives. That is the scientific definition of ultra processed foods as developed in 2009 by public health researchers as part of the NOVA food classification system.
Yeah.
They're already defined.
No, they're not defined.
I just read the definition.
There's not an FDA, like a federal legislative designator as these are bad. There isn't a designation for these things by the federal government yet. That doesn't exist.
But yes, there is.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is. So let me just be clear. When we say that, so let me just say this. If the federal government wanted to codify a federal definition, they could just take the scientific one that's already existed for 20 years and write it into a law. That's all Congress would have to do. It doesn't change what it is, though, right? So whether or not I put a definition into law, right? Or whether that definition exists because it is science-based and has existed for 20 years doesn't change its existence.
Yes. So, in testimony before Congress, Kennedy detailed a plan to establish the first ever formal legal definition of an ultra-processed food through the FDA. And then this pivots to traffic light warnings. Once this legal framework is finalized, Kennedy intends to institute mandatory front of package food labeling for these ultra-processed foods, which will have a significant impact on our consumption of these ultra-processed foods.
I've never seen consumption change based off of a label.
You weren't following cigarettes ever?
Cigarette consumption didn't change because of the label.
Cigarette consumption did not change after we instituted mandatory labels.
So it's not the label. So again, this is the difference between correlation and causation. So this is the thing that's very, very important. The label did not change consumption. It wasn't the label. So this is exactly what Dr. Jessica Nurek was just talking about, was knowing the difference between causation and correlation, and that just because two things correlate doesn't mean that they are caused by each other.
Well, that's not what I'm saying.
And so the other thing,
according to the National Institute of Health, the Power of Images global meta-analysis published in journals like Tobacco Control revealed that graphic pictorial warnings showing images of diseased lungs, whatever, are far superior to the labels.
I'm sorry, say that again. What's far superior to the labels?
And then they have a significant
Wait, what's far superior to the labels? Could you read it again?
Labels that include pictures, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have a measurable behavioral change in the consumption of a product. So you're wrong.
So
you're saying, correlation, not causation. But what I'm saying is that when you do put these images in front of people, it does.
You said images, not labels. So again, listen, Salad, because this is really hard, and I don't know why. Because there's still nothing in what you've said that says get something off the shelf. You just said put a label on something. You didn't say get it off the shelf.
I didn't say just put a label. I said specifically traffic light warnings.
You didn't. You said he was working to get them off the shelf. You said that RFK Jr. is working to get them off the shelf.
Through labeling that includes graphic imagery like red lights, yellow lights.
No, but I mean, no. Either we're going to give them. Either we're going to get them off the shelf or we're not.
Behavior of consumption.
So no, you didn't say change the behavior of consumption. You said get them off the shelf. So which one is it?
If we don't consume a product, grocery stores take them off the shelves. That's how economics works.
Except people don't not consume products based on labels. If so, we'd have no liquor stores. We would have no liquor stores. We would have no liquor stores.
Based off of,
we would have no liquor stores. What are you talking about, bro? That's just absolute crazy talk.
People absolutely respond to imagery like red light, green light, yellow light.
No, they don't. That's why they get traffic tickets every day. What are you talking about?
Oh my God. Okay, so now you're just doing like ad hominem.
No, because you just sound silly. First, you're trying to tell me that ultra processed foods are not defined, but they are. They are defined.
No, there isn't.
They are defined. Now, whether you take a scientific medical definition and codify it into a singular law is not, it doesn't mean that they're not defined. They are defined already. It's how we know.
I understand. So what do you think is the difference between codifying it into the FDA versus just having
what does it mean to codify something?
Create a formal federal definition within a health agency. What do you think the difference is between that and having a definition out there of something?
Okay, so the FDA does have a.
It would empower them to do certain things that they don't currently have that power to do. Do you think that might be an outcome?
Okay, so are you is your, let me just make sure that I understand, is your position that the FDA doesn't have a definition for ultra processed foods? Is that is your position that the EPA, the FDA doesn't have a definition that they use to describe and identify and classify ultra processed foods? Is that your position?
There is not a legal.
That's not what I asked you.
Of ultra processed foods.
I didn't ask because the FDA isn't who does something legally. That would be Congress, right? So if you want an ultra processed definition codified into law, you would need to go talk to your congressperson, because RFK Jr. cannot do that. The executive branch does not make laws.
What can RFK do?
Again, listen. This is the point, that because I just really we need it. We listen. We got to be very, very serious about this. So listen, I'm asking you, is your position, is what I understand you to say, is that you believe that the current FDA, that the FDA does not have a working, accepted definition of ultra processed foods that it uses for classification now? Is that what you're saying? You're saying we don't have a working definition within the FDA?
Yeah, the FDA currently is drafting a legal definition of the UPS as a step toward regulating them.
So that's not what I asked you.
So yes, currently they do not have a legal definition.
I didn't ask you. Who is the only person that can make a legal definition for ultra processed foods? What's the only body? And hint, it's not the executive branch. It's not the administration.
The FDA can provide their own internal legal definition of it. Yes, they can.
Not their own legal definition. They can provide their own internal definition. Yes. Legal definition, no, they cannot. Because who's the only body that makes laws?
What powers do you think the FDA have?
Who's the only body that makes laws?
Yeah, you're talking about the Congress, right?
Well, I'm asking you. I know what branch of government makes laws. It's only Congress. Okay. So what I am asking you is, so this is what I'm asking you, and this is pretty much yes or no. Is it your position that the FDA currently does not have a working definition for ultra processed foods used in the classification and the oversight of our country right now, our food industry? Is that what you're saying to me?
Under the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, the FDA is legally empowered to define food labeling standards. So
food labeling standards, correct. Food labeling standards. Septic salad.
A legally empowered to define. Yeah, they have the legal authority to do this.
Did you hear what I just said? So stop. So are you saying to me that they currently do not have, yes or no, do they currently have a definition for ultra processed foods in the FDA, yes or no?
No, they do not currently have a legal definition. They're working on one.
You don't want to hear me. And that's fine. I don't argue with aggressive ignorance, and you're being aggressively ignorant right now to not answer the question that is very plain.
They don't have a definition. I'm answering your question.
They do have a definition. I just read it to you. Okay, so hold on for a second. Don't interrupt. Hold on. Okay. So hold on. Give me a second. Whoops. Oh. Manage. No, thank you. No, thank you. Ouch. I want to find, because I really didn't think I was going here all day today, but here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. I just, just for me, folks, for those of you guys that are in the chat, hey Rosalind, hey Michael, hey Jody, good to see you guys, hey Marilyn. So I just want to ask you guys a question for the folks that are in the chat that are listening. What's up, KK? Can you all share with me how I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, this is the, okay.
We find another white lady on video talking about something.
Are you racist?
I was just wondering. Just making a joke.
I mean, I don't know. Why does it matter to you that she's white? Are you racist?
Just an identifier. It's not about race. She could be any race. She could be Asian. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but my question is, do you mean, did I find another doctor, an actual medically qualified, scientifically qualified doctor to talk about that? Who's the expert in that industry?
I mean, I was mostly just trying to poke fun at the strategy of just putting a video up there.
I didn't. No, it wasn't. No. So
that.
let me just be clear. So here's the strategy. The strategy is listen to a fucking expert. That's the strategy.
Well,
like that's literally the strategy. Listen to an expert. That's the strategy.
I'm listening to
right. And so for me, I'll go to the expert. Whether it is a white lady, black lady, Asian lady, Hispanic lady, I will go to the expert, period. Hands down. And that would not be you. And that definitely would not be RFK Jr. Neither of those two individuals ever. And so what I will also do is look at organizations around the world that have used the same classification system for the better part of the last 20 years to already define something that we know what it is, right? So the world is able to define ultra processed foods, period. Now, and this is just my humble opinion. I'm still talking though. Yeah. So this is just my humble opinion, folks. Real talk. If I were looking at the Department of Health and Human Services, whether that's any of the branch, any of the departments, right? Whether we're talking FDA, EPA, whatever. And I was looking at how they could potentially make America healthy again and steps that they could take to do that. Okay. One of the things that I would want to look at, and I think would be helpful to look at, right, is just going after food insecurity in this country. Right.
Well,
going after, I'm still talking though. And addressing the things that cause significant amounts of food insecurity in this country, and the systems that perpetuate that. Going after the systems, the industries, the supply chain, all of that that puts ultra processed foods in lower income communities, regardless of race. But specifically, it does end up having a racial impact. Absolutely. Food deserts, all of those different types of things. Those are things that I think would go a long way towards making America healthy again. Now, how did I reach that opinion? I reached that opinion by listening to various experts across the board, especially because that's not me, right? Right, exactly, Cheryl, 100%. And so those are things that I think, rather than keep saying to people, oh, this thing right here is so horrible, right? Even though this is a thing that is predominantly all over your shelves, this is the thing that is predominantly the most affordable. This is the thing that is most readily available to you, right? Instead of trying to say to people, oh, this thing is so horrible, you shouldn't eat it, even though it is the thing that you can afford, even though it is the thing that is on your shelf, even though it is the thing that is everywhere else, right? Instead of doing that, being able to say to people, here are healthy options. And by the way, here's a means of you being able to afford them, to be able to eat them, to be able to grow them, live them, do whatever you need to do with them, right? There's a difference between those two things. That's it. And we just don't tend to focus on those things. We tend to focus on things that sound good, right? Oh, it sounds good that I need a legal definition. I don't need a legal definition for what ultra processed foods are, right? Medicine and science has determined for the last 20 plus years what ultra processed foods are. Like that, there's no grocery store chain, there's no pharmaceutical industry, there's no healthcare company, there's no, like, the FDA is not walking around, like, people are not walking around the FDA today and going, fuck, hey Joe, what are you thinking ultra processed food is today? Nobody's confused. Nobody is confused at the FDA about what an ultra processed food is. What's up, Burke? They know.
Yes, because
right?
the term
And
ultra-processed
so,
food has historically been a
and
scientific and social
so,
concept rather than a legal one.
and so,
oh my
and
God.
so, and so, if there's a widely accepted definition that the world has been going by, the majority of the world has been going by for the last 20 some years, right? You don't need to make a new definition. Just take the one that already exists.
They're drafting one based
You don't have to draft one. It already exists.
You need a legal definition in order to...
No, there's one that already exists.
In order to force through the federal Food, Drug, and...
So how do they come up with it? What do they need to come up with this definition?
In order to be able to enforce these food labeling standards and everything, you have to codify a legal definition within the agency. You can't just make the label based off of what everyone has already said that it is. You have to codify one, and maybe it will match exactly the historic definition. That's fine. So we codify it. That way they can enforce the labeling of these foods through the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. And then, boom, we're now manipulating consumer behavior.
So, no.
And the reason that this is so impactful is because the number one drain on our entire country right now is obesity. Number one cause of chronic illness. You can laugh about it, okay? I mean, if you don't think that it's a problem that we have a 45% obesity rate, then go for it. But Japan can afford universal health care. You know why? Because they have a 5%.
Yeah, he did, Jody. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is, Jody. 100%. Yeah. Yep.
So the host doesn't think that chronic illness is caused by obesity. Great. All right.
The host. So let me just be clear about you real quick. So one of the things that you're going to stop doing is saying what the host does or doesn't think when the host didn't say that.
Well, you laughed it off. So.
I don't give a fuck if I laughed or if I didn't. What you're not going to do is say I did or didn't say something that I did or didn't say. So I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to say it one more time. You are not going to say, shut up and listen. What you're not going to do is say that I said or didn't say something, or believe or don't believe something that I did not say.
Okay, then why'd you laugh it off?
Because I felt like fucking laughing.
Is it because
Because I felt
dietitian?
like laughing. Got
So
it?
you disagree with
Did you hear
dietitian?
what I said? Did you hear what I said?
Okay, so do you
Go-
disagree
So
with dietitian?
again, this is not your live.
Okay.
Okay? It's not your, this is not your live and this is not your space. It's not. And so let me just be very, yeah, I was literally laughing at you. I wasn't laughing at what you said. I was laughing at
Because
you.
you disagree?
I was laughing at you because you literally make no sense. And here's what I mean by that. And here's what I mean by that. Okay. Your first claim was that this administration was putting people first. And the only thing that you've come up with as to how this administration is putting people first is to come up with a definition that already existed and has existed for 20 years. So yes, I chuckled.
There has to be a legal
I
definition.
chuckled.
No,
I chuckled because it is crazy to me that the claim that you make is this administration is putting people first. And I said, well, tell me how. Because they're coming up with a definition that already exists. And they're just gonna tell people, yep, this is the definition that we choose. Even though it's been the working definition that everyone has used for the past 20 years, we're just gonna say, yep, this is the definition after we go through some long ass process of letting somebody else say, oh, well, maybe it's this, and maybe it's this, and maybe it's this, and maybe it's this. Like, that's what you have said after a fucking hour. That's all you've been able to come up with as to how this administration is putting people first with Make America Healthy Again, is to come up with a definition that already exists. So yes, I chuckled. For no other reason than you sound silly. Yes.
Subsidizing GLP-1s for
You
weight
have to
loss.
wait one
So there's
second.
more than just
Honey, you
one
have to wait
thing,
one
but
second, okay, babe?
You can't regulate. You can't regulate based off of the working.
You
definition.
sound
Legal
silly.
definition.
Period. And the bottom line is they can regulate. How have they been regulating all this
No, they
time?
can't.
How have they been regulating all this time?
They
Are you
haven't.
trying to say, is what you're saying right now, is what you are saying right now, is that the FDA has had no regulations regarding ultra processed foods? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
None.
They are not regulating ultra processed foods
Okay. Okay.
because there is no legal definition within the FDA.
Oh.
Specifically regulating ultra processed foods. They can regulate chemicals. They can regulate certain things like they did with the food dyes, but they have not specifically regulated ultra processed foods.
Okay.
And
so let's talk about that
we
for
should
just
be.
a minute. Let's talk about that. Because yeah, I'm just saying. They actually have. U.S. regulation began with USD with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, with the FDA's website, and in what they started was in 1958 with these generally recognized as safe. So generally recognized as safe, the GRAS loophole, right, is what was the initial part. Probably policy different, but that was like the initial part. Right. So when you say no, they haven't ever regulated, that's not true. Of course they have.
I'm saying that yes, they've banned specific chemical.
No,
additives.
they haven't. Nope, you can't say that. Nope, you
Yes,
cannot.
they have.
Nope, you don't get to say, oh yes, they've actually banned something. Nope, you said that they have not been regulating. They have not regulated. They have not regulated ultra processed foods ever in history. You can't regulate something that's not defined according to you.
No, I said specifically that they can regulate certain chemicals in our food, which they have been doing for decades. Yes.
Nope.
Just like they remove the food
Nope.
dye, they can
Nope.
they can because and those
Nope.
dyes, those chemical additives are fine.
Nope.
Yes.
No ultra processed food regulation in history.
That's not what I said. I said they have not specifically targeted ultra processed foods. They have targeted chemicals. Yeah.
Again, nope.
Okay. You show me where they have put a ban on UPFs. You show me that.
So again,
not chemicals.
So
associated
again,
with UPFs.
nope. And what I said was regulations. What are regulations?
Okay, show me the.
What's a regulation?
UPFs.
What is a regulation?
It's them regulating something.
What does it mean to regulate?
To control.
No, regulations don't control.
Yes, regulate. Regulate literally means to control. That's literally the definition of regulate.
Yeah. So when you regulate,
do you not know the definition?
So when you regulate, well, I disagree with control as a definition for regulate, because just because you regulate something, just because you make regulations. So, for example, in the healthcare industry, there are tons of regulations, and in the healthcare is actually a perfect way to talk about this. So there are regulations, there are rules, and then there are laws, and they are governed different ways, and they provide different levels and different mechanisms for oversight.
Do you want to just dictionary definition? Is the dictionary definition is to regulate something means to control, direct, or manage it using an official.
Well, direct and manage isn't control.
Okay,
I'm just saying, direct and manage. If I direct something, I'm not controlling it, and if I manage it, I'm not controlling it.
Well, it's a form of control. Yeah, control, direct, or manage. These are kind of synonymous.
No,
things.
But they're not. They're similar, but they are not one and the same.
Well,
I'm a bit of a stickler for words, which is why I hesitated when you use the word control, right?
Okay, well, it's the first word in the definition, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm just saying. Again, in 2023, California passed laws against UPFs in school lunches.
Okay, is California the federal government?
Again, you said, tell me when we've started regulating. We've been regulating.
No, we have not been regulating.
We have.
May have in
We have.
2023 may have regulated.
We have.
And why did California do that?
We have. And do you know what they use? Do you know what they use? Do you know what they use when they start to target UPFs? Do you know what definition they're using? The one from the NOVA classification that's been existing for almost 20 years now, that I keep referencing.
Does California have different?
So again,
like
NOVA.
Requirements than the federal
Can you
government?
tell me where the NOVA food classification system was developed?
I'd have to look it up. But why did California put these regulations on?
We're not talking about, listen, you asked me for an example of regulation, and I'm telling you that it's being done. So listen. Listen. Shh. Listen. I'm going to give you just a couple of, so this is just from a quick little article, and it says U.S. policies addressing ultra processed foods 1980 to 2022. And here, because I like to share. Sharing is caring. So let me just show you guys. So boop, boop. So I'm speaking. So this would be from the National Library of Medicine, right? And U.S. policies addressing ultra-processed foods from 1980 to 2022. Ultra-processed foods are industrial. Oh my God, it says are. It looks like there's a definition. Holy shit. Are industrial formulations manufactured from substances derived from foods and industrial produced ingredients and additives. Few countries' policies directly regulate UPF, but several countries' dietary guidelines suggest eating less UPF. The U.S. dietary guidelines are kind of like regulations for people who don't know, do not mention the UPF category, but the 2025 to 2030 Advisory Committee is tasked with evaluating that relating to consumption, right? But the DGAs are used for what? Policies, kind of like regulations. And it is unknown the extent that federal and state policymakers have already proposed or passed policies addressing UPFs. But this is the methods. Research was conducted using Lexis Plus into federal and state statutes, bills, resolutions, regulations, proposed rules, and Congressional Research Services reports to identify policymaking related to highly processed and ultra-processed food from January of 1980 through February of 2023. And these are the results. This research identified 25 policy actions, 8 of them federal and 17 state, proposed or passed between 1983 and 2022. 22 of them between 2011 and 2022. The most common topic area related to children's nutrition and a prevalent theme related to food prices. Only one policy defined UPF. Oh shit, there's a policy that has a definition. And 3 policies sought to address the broader food environment by providing incentives to small retailers to stock healthy foods. Conclusions: addressing UPF in U.S. policy activity is quite recent, with few policies directly targeting UPFs, but rather discussing them as contrary to healthy diets. Internationally, UPFs have been directly integrated into national dietary guidelines and school food programs. These policies are consistent with emerging U.S. policy activity and may provide information for future policy making. So what does that mean? It means that between 1983, shut up and let me finish. Between 1983 and 2022, what has happened? There has been policy actions, 8 of them federal and 17 state. Absolutely. And what has been done, instead of there being state and federal like legal policy actions, right, or proposed pieces of legislation, they've been integrated into national dietary guidelines and school food programs. That is what's been happening based on what? The NOVA classification system. I'm still finishing. And it's based on what? The NOVA classification system that has been around since 2009. That is widely accepted as the unprocessed or minimally processed culinary ingredients, processed foods, and ultra-processed foods. And it has a breakdown as to what those things are. And this has been in existence since 2009. Period. There are the policy actions. They have been regulated. And matter of fact, look at this. It even goes on. There's 4 proposed rules, 1 federal bill, right? State level, 5 adopted, 2 proposed resolutions. This is the thing. It already exists. And so for me, the biggest takeaway for me is very simple, folks. The biggest takeaway for me is that we are aware that these things exist. We know that they are not good for us, right? And we are so focused on the bureaucracy of it to make it sound like we're doing something so that we don't have to actually do something. Because if we were going to actually do something, right, then we would address our food deserts. We would address the way that we regulate our food. It's absolutely crazy. And it would not be about trying to blame individuals. Right, loopholes, Nana, I'm just saying, right, for a system that has been created that have led to the things that we are experiencing today. The bottom line is, folks, we didn't just get here overnight. We literally have created systems that cultivate the type of reality that we are living in. That is the system that we have created. And they have various points of intersectionality that cause it to end up the way that it is. There is a reason that we have progressed the way that we have. If you don't stop interrupting me, sir, you're just being rude. And I'm kind of over you at first. You know, and like at first I was tolerant. I'm getting over you at this place. I'm really getting over you because you want to focus on, oh, they're going to make a legal codified definition that doesn't change anything. It doesn't change a thing. And let me just say this. I personally do not want to be in a society where if it's not legally defined, we don't do shit about it. I believe that we should have a society that doesn't need a legal definition to do what's right by people, especially by our children. Why should we do that? Why in the world, why do I need a legal definition when there's already a medical definition? Why do I need a legal definition when there's already a scientific definition? Why do I need something to be put into a legal place just for us to hold corporations accountable? It's the craziest thing ever. This is what's wrong with us as a society right now. And I said the same thing last week when people were like, well, what's a human right? If you have to ask me what a human right is, you are someone that doesn't respect basic human rights. And that just says a whole lot about you. Okay, you got to give me a sec. This is why I ask, okay?
When did I say you shouldn't do things without codifying it into federal law? I never said that. I approve.
I never said that you said that, did I? That's the difference between me and you. I didn't say that you said that, did I? I didn't assume and I didn't put words in your mouth. I made my own opinion without saying anything derogatory about what you did or didn't say. You haven't been able to do that in the same conversation with me.
And I'm saying that California.
I don't care what you have to say about California because you just told me that we weren't regulating anything. And it's not just California. It's literally been since 1983. It's literally been since 1983. Period.
That's not been since 1983. That's not.
I just showed you that we have been doing policies and regulations around ultra processed foods and around highly processed foods since 1983. I just showed them to you.
25 of those were from like 2021 until 2023.
Okay, so
this is a very, you even read it yourself that this is a very recent phenomenon.
For fuck my life, by the way, it was from 2011 to 2022. 2011 to 2022. That's 15 years ago. That is 15 years ago.
Okay. And so you
What? Hold on one second, please. Hush for a moment. What? Well, then you need to be careful.
So you agree with RFK Jr. and his
No, I don't agree with RFK Jr. And why would you? So there you go again. See, this is how disingenuous you are. This is how disingenuous you are. It's like you just woke up and go, you know what? I think today I want to be an asshole. Did I tell you who you agree with and what you do? Shut up. Did I tell you who and what you agree with? Yes or no? No, I did not. So don't open your mouth to do it with me again.
You just said what I woke up thinking.
No, I didn't. I said, did you? I asked a question. I said, did you wake up today and say, I want to be an asshole? That's what I said. These are hard.
I'll play back on that one, but.
Well, go play it back. Shit, I'm on all the platforms. Go play it back. I know what I said.
Mm-hmm. But so then are you in favor of increased regulations on ultra processed foods?
I am in favor of doing things that actually address root causes and fix the system, and this is not one of them. Having a so let me just be clear. Telling people I want your input so that I know what to define something. And by the way, y'all, they've been asking for input about this definition for a fucking year. RFK Jr. has taken an entire year to ask for input about the definition for ultra processed foods when, guess what? We've had a definition since 2009. So no, all of this is a waste of time, energy, and money, and it doesn't help the American people. Period.
No, I disagree.
I don't care if you disagree. You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, I think it helps them tremendously.
I don't care. You can have that opinion. I'm not arguing with your opinion. Listen, I respect your right to have an opinion. I don't have to respect your opinion. Period. Yes. Yeah, I told you that's not the soft one, sissy. Yeah, that's not the soft one. That's a hard peppermint. It tastes different than the soft peppermint. It's a little spicier. Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. Don't rinse your mouth out. Go get some water. All right.
What do you say?
I said. Hey, Lincoln.
Yeah. Obesity
So-
epidemic is pretty much the
so,
worst thing that.
Folks,
that's
let me
happened
just
in
say
our
this
country,
to you all really quickly, okay? Here's going to be where I differ from, yeah, Carla, it is. Here's going to be where I differ. What I refuse to do is to sit around and vilify or condemn or tell everybody else that it's your fault for the way things are when I support, create, and enable systems that create conditions that that make it damn near impossible for you to be anything other than what you are. Right? And so I think that if the United States of America doesn't want a society that is obese or unhealthy, then the United States of America should invest in food systems and healthcare systems that work for the people and not corporations. What I am not going to do is sit back and blame working class people for how they exist in systems that are designed to work against them for the benefit of the wealthy, right? It's crazy that they want to talk about, hey, absolutely not. Listen, we do not hit each other. No licks get passed in this house. No hitting. And everyone knows that. There is no excuse, no hitting. There is no excuse. Both of you know how to get up and say, Tutu, I need something. You do not hit each other. And you surely do not trade licks with each other. Absolutely not. Did you hear what I said? Okay, so the answer is very simple. No hitting. There is no but. There is no hitting. Yeah, sisters. We don't do hitting here. We don't hitting. So listen, guys, you're not a few searches away from the truth. Septic Salad telling you, oh, you're a few searches away from the truth is bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why. You can do a few searches and you're still not a fucking expert. You can do a few searches and you are not a scientist. You are not a healthcare professional. You are not an expert. No, you are not. No, you are not. And don't pretend to be. Don't. So I'm just going to be very, very clear about that. That's not the case. And I also want to say this, okay? It is important. It is important, you all, when you go to look at science and information. Yeah, do you want to know why they left? Because I muted them in the comments. They just left the panel because I muted them in the comments. Okay? That's why they left. Do not let people gaslight you into believing that it's your fault that groceries are the way that they are, or that do not let them gaslight you into that. We do not have to have the systems that we have. This is by choice, and it is the choice of the people in power to create the systems that we have in this country. And they just use big fancy words, vertical integration. What you mean is monopolization? Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? Folks, I don't want to hear anything about this majority in Congress and this administration giving a damn about people, not about the health and well-being of pregnant people or newborns or toddlers, when they literally just passed a bill 3 days ago to take $141 million away from pregnant and postpartum women on SNAP and toddlers, specifically cutting their fruits and vegetable budgets from $53 a month to $13 a month, from $26 a month to $10 a month. I don't give a fuck about your label or how much money and time you are wasting trying to create a label. Right, when they cut WIC. I don't know what I just said, but WIC is what I meant. I don't give a fuck about a label. I don't care. Oh, we need a definition. No, so I don't care if you want to define this ultra processed thing while you take away people's ability to eat fruits and vegetables. Get the fuck out of my life. Get out of my face with that. Let me just be very clear. This administration, RFK Jr., Dr. Oz, Pete Hegseth, you are walking billboards as to why women in this country should remain underbabied. I'm going to say this again using your terminology. Dr. Oz, RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, the President of the United States, all of you are walking billboards, flashing fucking neon signs as bright as the brightest thing you've ever seen in Times Square. That is why women in this country should remain, quote unquote, underbabied. We should not give you a single other child for you to exploit, for you to put into your labor programs early, for you to give underfunded public education, for you to marry before they are 18 years of age, for you to do fuck all of that. We should not give you any of our children anymore to create a society that harms them and causes them trauma, and then you try to blame it on them. Fuck all of you. And this is why you want to come after the corn industry, because that is a much more viable, pleasurable alternative to your bullshit. Just saying. So be mad if you want to be mad. This is not the direction that I thought I was going this morning, but I want to be clear. This administration is not putting working class people ahead of corporations. It's not putting working class people ahead of wealthy people, billionaires, millionaires, or themselves, or government. I want you all to understand something. The President of the United States believes that you care about the water in the Lincoln Memorial more than you care about buying your own groceries. Yep. He thinks you're going to be more impressed with a fucking UFC fight on the White House lawn than being able to feed your children. Right? Like this is an episode of The Apprentice or some dumb shit. And they think you are so ignorant that you believe photos taken 10 years apart have clouds that are in the same position. They just really believe you're just supposed to believe clouds never move. Nope. And by the way, LGBTQIA community, please go get Scott Bessent. Because that's your people. Y'all do know that Scott Bessent is gay, right, y'all? With kids? Do y'all know that? You did not know that? Yes, he is. You thought that makeup was just like overly done for TV. Yes, Scott Besant is gay and has children with his partner, with his husband. Yes. He does know it. He's got a partner. So let me just tell y'all, this is the same way. This is what tickles me. So listen, this is the same way when black folk are like, I don't know how Tim Scott does. Yes, you do. The same way Scott Besant is. Y'all hear me? None of this is what I intended to talk about today. And yet here we are. Do you know, last night, I unfriended somebody on Facebook. Yeah, baby. Yeah, bring me the scissors. I'll get it for you. I unfriended somebody on Facebook yesterday. We've never been friends, but we've been like associates, moved in the same circles, blah, 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 whatever, right? And give me those ones over there by my box. And this is somebody that time and time again I have thought about. Like I've snoozed them. You know how on Facebook, y'all, you can snooze somebody? I've snoozed this joker several times for 30 days at a time. And I've thought about like unfriending them. They don't have an impact like on my day, on my regular life, right? I don't ever see them in real life. We don't. What, baby?
Your fingers are too big for those.
Yeah, those are your kid scissors. Yeah. But you know, I see this person make snide remarks sometimes. They do a lot of really good things when it comes to the civil rights for black and brown people, right? Like that's what they do. But every now and again, I see them make comments about women that are sexist or misogynistic in nature, right? I see them sometimes say things along those lines. And that's usually when I will hit the snooze button. And then yesterday, they happened to get me on the right day at the right time, and I'll share with you all what happened. So I was scrolling, and what I saw yesterday was, and I quote, this is what they said, and I quote, "Happy Sodom and Gomorrah month." And then they said, I said what I said. And I just said, click, bye. 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 And so today, I wanted to make sure that I was out here. I'm going to be very, very clear about things, folks. Especially for my black and brown folks. This is for you. I can love the work that you do for black and brown people. And if you open your mouth out of one side of your neck to fight for the rights of Black and brown people, and then open your mouth at the other side of your neck to participate in language and behavior that endangers the rights of another group of people, fuck you. You aren't about shit. You don't care about human rights. You only care about the rights of people who look like you. I just am going to be clear about this, folks. If your humanity only exists, if your advocacy only exists as far as for the people that you agree with, that live like you, love like you, pray like you, talk like you, right? Marry like you, dress like you, like all the things. If that's as far as your humanity goes, you are part of the problem. You are part of the problem. If you believe that human rights are conditional upon your agreement, you don't believe in human rights. And somebody someday is coming for yours. Human rights are not conditional, and they are not contingent upon whether or not you agree with them. My personal opinion is this person shouldn't even get to advertise themselves as a civil rights attorney, because you're not. You might be African American rights attorney, but you're not a civil rights attorney, because LGBTQIA people also have and deserve human rights and civil rights. Yes. You had it on the couch, Sissy. No, it's not. No, it's not Ben Crump. Number one, I don't think that Ben Crump would be, even if he did think that way, which to my knowledge he doesn't, I don't think he would be dumb enough to post that on his social media. Hold on. Let me take care of this baby real quick, y'all. Oh shit. That is not what I meant to do. Yeah. So that's just where I'm at. Folks, just dipping back real quick into salad. Just dipping back into salad real quick. Let me just say this. If your position is that this is an administration that is working to for people and putting people first, hey, you can't do that, okay? Then, and I ask you what they've done, and your only response is to be able to say to me that they are working on a definition 18 months after having been in office, get out of my face with that. Get out of my face. The other thing that I'm not going to let you do is demonize people and target obese people. Mila, what is it? This is what happens when a 5-year-old wakes up before they are ready to. Mila, don't fake cry. If you want to come say something to me, come say something, please. Mila. Okay, Mila, if you continue to fake cry, that will be a problem, because I've already said to you, if you want to come over here and say something, come say it. But we're not fake crying today. See how quickly that went away? Yes, ma'am. What did I just say I'm doing for you? Okay. Where'd you put your paper that I cut for you? I thought you were going to go color. Yes or no? Okay. Well, go ahead while I do this, please. Yeah, she is tired. I want to read a very important article to you guys, but I need to take care of her for just like 2 seconds and go from there. Right. Yeah, but she won't do it because she won't take a nap. Yeah, she got up too early, but she's not ready for a nap. Yes, that is my EGOT winner. Yeah, the FOMO is real over here. Yeah. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me do this real quick. Oh my word. The struggle. You know, now that I think about it, you all, the background that I have up, this while you fight each other, they consolidate power. Septic is a perfect example of that. The blaming people for eating ultra processed foods and blaming people for being obese and not blaming the people that are creating the conditions that bring those things to be. You know what I mean? Perfect example as to why that's a problem. It's wild to me that that somehow people are thinking that way. Yeah. So, and here's my thing, Penny GF, for real, like make it a society where I don't need organic fruits and vegetables. Why should it be organic? Why do I have to have something be organic? Why? That was just a way for them to make more money. That's it. Oh, let's stop killing people with these things, and we'll just call them organic and make it be a thing. Right? Right, exactly, Terry. And that's the whole other thing too, is like you don't even want to get into the labeling of things being organic and what is and what isn't. Why isn't natural good enough? That's a whole loaded ass statement right there. So Pink Panther said, why isn't natural good enough? We live in a society, the whole ass society that doesn't believe natural is good enough. Not your natural looks, not your natural hair, not your natural accent, not your natural thighs, not your natural hips, not your natural nails, not your natural, like literally, what are you talking? Like they literally have built an entire systems where natural is never enough. Well, so and Ghetto Freeman, let me just say this: the reason why you have medicine that we're natural. Listen, we're not the same people anymore. Let's just be clear. So number one, there's not natural medicine for everything that exists. And when you live in a world where people do not eat naturally, people do not live naturally, you cannot think that you're going to have medicine that's going to be the most effective naturally as quickly, because we no longer have natural bodies that to absorb that naturally. Yes. Didn't I already say that to you once already? And what did you do with it? I think you're sleepy, sissy. I think you're sleepy, sis. That's what I think. Are you sleepy? Well, you kind of sound sleepy. Yeah, I know you're concurring. I know. What I'm saying is that, so what I was saying, I didn't take that you weren't concurring. What I was saying is that with the natural medicine, it's because we've created an environment that isn't conducive to that.
I was just sounding like that.
Were you? Can you please pick that up and put it in the trash, please? Do y'all want to know the trade-off in life? I'm going to give you guys the trade-off. The trade-off in life is when you no longer have to get up at 0:30 to take everybody to school, and you no longer get up at 0:30 to take everybody to school. Yes. What? Mila, listen to me. You got to. You're literally saying the same thing every 5 seconds, and you see what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It is for real. Okay. So let me do this. Good Lord, y'all. The struggle is real. I'm almost done. So for those of you guys that maybe you're new to me, right? I have 3 grandkids, and their mom works 2 jobs, and she just finished 1 medical program, and she just got accepted into nursing school. So they are with me a ton. And if I waited until life was perfect to go live or to do a podcast episode or to do whatever, I would never get shit done. Like this is what it looks like when you're really not sponsored by George Soros or anybody else. This is what it looks like because you just make life work, right? I don't have no damn nannies and whatever. You know what I mean? So this is what it really looks like. To just have a desire to do the right thing and help as much as possible and make it work however you can without being perfect, without knowing all the ins and outs and all the things, and just doing the best you can based on who you are and what you know at the time. That's what it looks like. And that's where we're at. So I'm trying to find something for this child, and I don't know that I'm going to, and it's going to be what it is, and I'm not going to worry about it. Right, Irvette, it's called real life, 100%. Yeah, invisible, there's no such thing as perfection. There's no, yeah, she just took her T's, Peace Brooks, and she literally had the highest score of anybody in the history of the school. How about that? And it was in the shortest testing time too. So congrats to her, right? And let me also say this, okay, because I immediately hear JD Vance in my ear talking about how we all ought to come together and it's up to the village. And here's my thing, is there are absolute benefits to the village, 100%. And I wonder how much more effective village would be if village didn't have to exist, or village existed without significant economic challenges. Right? Why do they think village is good, but only for working class people? Why do they think village is good, but only for working class people? You don't see that for the ultra wealthy, for the ultra rich, do you? No, you don't. Um, I'm trying to see if I can do this for him real quick. Mila, see if Dominic is awake, please. I am really, really, really frustrated by why I cannot find the thing that I want. And for some reason, I cannot find the thing that I want. It's going to be okay. Morning, Carlos. What's up, DeBoss? I saw you slide in here. It doesn't want to let me find what I want to find, guys. And I'm gonna find it because I need to get it done. Damn it. So that I can do this with you all, because I have a lot that I want to talk to you about. Can I ask you all another question real quick? If you're new to me, like for real new, like if you've been in my lives less than 3 times, can you put a 1 in the chat for me? Just so I can take inventory real quick. I got it, Scotty. 1 second. If you've been in my lives less than 3 times, put a 1 in the chat for me. I see some of you guys. What about over here? No, most everybody is home. Either that or it's frozen, one of the two. Okay. So I want to talk to you all about kind of me in this space and what I want to do in this space. Okay. So the goal for me is to share information that is important to people and that makes a difference in your everyday life. I'm going to talk about policy and people and how it impacts people. I'm going to talk about what's happening in our political world in the States and around the world. That means I'm going to touch on subjects like racial and social justice, LGBTQIA, Israel, Palestine, Iran, Lebanon, Cuba, Venezuela, Sudan, along with SNAP benefits and Medicaid and housing and gas prices and economic mobility and, the gutting of the Civil Rights Act of 1965 and midterms and candidates and progressive versus Tea Party versus MAGA versus, Democrats versus whatever else, right? Oh, I love that, Sin. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about in this space. The place where I'm going to talk about it from is not a place of debate me, bro, prove me wrong, bro. I will have conversations with you about facts. I will not argue with you about your dumbass opinion. Let me say that again. I will discuss facts with you. I will not debate a dumbass opinion, especially a dumbass opinion that disregards the facts. I'm not doing that. If you want to get up here and be like, well, I think gay people should whatever. Okay, that's what you think. I wouldn't brag about it, but that's what you think. Right? And then the place that I'm focused on the most and the thing that I really want to get locked in, okay, is the fact that we have 5 months to change the trajectory of this country. And it's a very real window. It is a very real timeline. It is a very, very real possibility. And people need to get tuned in and stop bullshitting. If you're FBA and you are in here running your jaws about, we're not vote for Democrats until we get reparations, it's a fucking disingenuous even argument, and it's dumb because you know good and damn well you cannot get reparations without Republicans. You know that you can't. Democrats in and of themselves cannot give you reparations, and you know that. And you also know that the Republican Party has zero interest in giving you reparations. So stop being used. Stop being used to cause division in a way that is only going to hurt your people even more further down the road. Period. And if you are FBI and you want to have that conversation with me, come on up here to the panel. We can do that. And I'm so serious about that. If you are someone that supports the Trump administration, right? And you are a Black and brown individual, we can talk. And what I'm going to tell you is, you know how a lot of times they say to Black and brown people, get off the plantation? Here's my thing. Get your ass out of Massa's house. Right? They love to tell Black and brown people, get off the Democratic plantation. Get your ass out of Massa's house. He got you out here selling out your own fucking folk, and you think you better because of it. Proximity to whiteness is not power, nor is it protection. I'm going to say it again. Proximity to whiteness is not power, neither is it protection. Because at the end of the day, they don't give a damn about you. If you're a white woman, I say this with all the love of Jesus or whomever works for you. You do not get to be fragile. Not for at least 10 years. Nope. You don't get to be fragile. You don't get to be sensitive. You don't get to take nothing the wrong way. Nothing. You don't get to be offended. Nothing. Nope. Nope. Suck it up, sis. And I have some white women that can help get you together. Yes, baby.
Can I go outside and pour?
Yes. Okay. Titan, you have to move. Let me make sure I got this done, guys. Sorry. Yeah, like real talk. And let me just say this, white women, I know you can do hard things. You wore corsets. White women, I know you can do hard things. You wore corsets. Tighten up. Tighten up, because we got work to do. Do y'all know you can't even sit down in them damn things? You got to sit with a board. Don't tell me you can't do shit. Don't tell me that you don't know how to be uncomfortable. Don't tell me that you don't know how to just make the best of the worst situations. Because you do. You do. Okay? And I did not intend to go down that road today, and yet here we are. Yeah, Hill, give me 1 second. Because I am doing my best. Okay, that's just going to be that for now. Okay. Yeah, and here we are. So, I was thinking about all the stuff that we have going on and that's facing us right now. And this weekend I was upset with myself because I didn't get out and do a lot of our community organizing this weekend and spreading of information and having discussions with people and all of that, right? Um, yeah, I did, but I didn't get a chance to look at it. Like literally, my body did not cooperate with me since Saturday. It just did not, and so I was a little irritated with myself, and I was upset that I did not get to be out and about. Yeah, Slim Shady. It's because I showed Jessica's videos. And so I'm thinking I might need to shut this down and restart this live over here. That's why TikTok is doing that, is because I showed a couple of minutes of her videos. And so that's why TikTok is acting like an asshole. Real talk. That's why. What is? Oh my God, I cannot. It let you repost. Yeah, it said something about gifting or reposting. I don't even know if you can gift right now. You know how TikTok does. They act a fool sometimes. It let you repost. Okay, see? I don't know. Maybe they gave you, oh, it's not anymore. See? I appealed it, and so maybe Slim Shady. She said, am I in the naughty corner? Maybe. Maybe. What's up, K-Log? Good to see you. This is not working for me. Why is it not working for me? You can't repost either. There's Miss Badass Rose. Listen, y'all ain't heard nothing until you be here. Listen, Miss Rose is 80 and she is out here in these community streets, absolutely crushing it, giving people information that they need to know. And I couldn't be like more ecstatic and excited, which by the way, let me know if you want any of the graphics in. I know you were considering a couple of other languages for your Asian community. Let me know. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so I am really pissed that this is not how this is not letting me do what I needed to do, but it's gonna be okay. All right, I want to talk about. Okay, let me ask you guys a question because it isn't. Would it be helpful? Do you all believe that it would be helpful for me to read and go over? Oh, I got you. To go over the letter about Todd Blanche on Lawyer Oyer's Substack, or should I just drop it into the link tree for you all to read at your own leisure and go on and talk about other things? What would you prefer at this moment? Because here are the things that I definitely wanted to talk about. Give me 1 second, you guys. I wanted to talk about I want to talk about the cuts to WIC and the people that voted for that. And I want to talk about people's idea about these quote unquote link tree. Got it. I'm doing too much. What the fuck? Great. That is tomorrow. Where? Hold on, guys. This is a message from one of Bella's specialists that was just being sent to me saying that they want her to have an appointment tomorrow. And I was not aware that this was something that was scheduled. And I'm trying to find out if this is going to be at one of their satellite offices near where we are, or if I need to reschedule my day tomorrow to travel an hour and a half to take her to a specialist. So I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that question yet. Yeah, Letty. Okay, I got you. Okay. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to bring up some folks to the panel. Cheryl, while I bring them up, could you do me a quick favor and do a mod announcement? And then either you or Cam, and then I will get Nana Kay, Max ready to roll, and Hill in this conversation as well, if that works for you guys. Yes? Okay. So folks, when I bring you up, just put yourself on mute until I get to you, please, and let Cheryl do her mod announcement. That would be amazing. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
I'll be right back.
All right. So mod announcement time. Everybody needs to go up to the top where the heart is by Dani's 7th, where you see her name and her image at the top. You click on that and you click to do your single heart for today. And then also, if you click it again, you'll see other options of what you can do to make sure that you claim everything, because you have to go back in there and claim it. And you have to claim it for anything that you do, like sending gifts. If you send the Go Popular one, you can get more points for that. And then it also helps the algorithm, and it gets Dani out there and gets more people in here watching, listening, and participating. Just make sure you click it again to go back and claim those points for the day. Also, in the bottom right corner, there's an arrow there. You can click that. You can copy the link to paste it anywhere you want. You can repost, or you can automatically share it to the people you see available just above it. You can pick, it usually puts people in there that you've already been speaking to or that you are friends with on TikTok. Also, you can go up to Dani's name at the top and you click on her. It'll take you to her profile, and in her profile, she has a link tree, which everybody lovingly calls link forest, because you'll see when you go in there, there are a ton of links to valuable information, all kinds of facts and education in there that I guarantee you're going to find stuff that you knew nothing about, and you can learn some new things. And don't forget that tapping is clapping. And that also helps this live, helps gain recognition, helps get the algorithm going. And like I said, get more people in here. Am I forgetting anything? You guys
Almost
can say in the
there.
chat.
So
You're good.
I'm almost there. Okay.
You're fine.
Okay. Thank you,
Don't
Cheryl.
forget the rules while you're in here too. Very simple rules. No typing in caps. That's saved for mods and those with visual impairments. Make sure that you're not using any slurs, and do not spam the comments with the same thing over and over and over again.
100%. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you. Okay, so just to reiterate for everybody, also remember that Wednesday night, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am going to have a guest. His name is Franklin Cruz. He is a developer, big real estate developer down in Florida. He specifically reached out to me because he is working on a data center, and there are concerns in their community about data centers. And he said that he thought of me because he would like to be able to get people information about data centers, and I just simply said to him, okay, I'm down for this conversation. Just also understand that I'm about facts, and I'm about facts. so that's that. Yeah. Hey, Money, I got you, sis. I was out of pocket yesterday, but I got you. Okay. So just a reminder, that is going to be Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I think that he already has an idea of kind of like some of the questions that I'm going to be asking. But I've also asked him for additional information that he plans to talk about so that I can already be a little familiar with it. So he sent that to me this morning. Okay. Other than that, I think that's what I wanted to let you know about that. Before I dive into anything else, Nana Kay. So I'm just curious. You brought up that particular geographic location. Was that in reference to the name that I mentioned? Yeah. If you are able to join on Wednesday at 5, I would love for you to join, and you can absolutely be a part of that discussion. So for those of you guys who are listening, Nana Kay lives exactly where this particular data center is being proposed, and yeah, I know she's on the panel now. Yeah, and she can say something now. I'm just inviting her to join when he's here, because I don't live there, and they do, and she does, right? So yeah, I think that would be amazing. I was hoping that I would have somebody that would be part of that would be there, but I wasn't for sure. And I'm not sure if you heard me say in the beginning that this individual is an acquaintance of mine, right? And if I'm being transparent, I don't know why they thought I was like a great idea. I don't. And here we are. So it is specifically in Lakeland, Florida. Yeah. But you know, my understanding, and Nana Kay, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that from what I gleaned really quickly online was that there was a bit of a roadblock that they encountered in the last week or so. Nana Kay, is that right? Yeah, I know. Well, we're going to talk about it. Yeah. You can take yourself on mute, Nana Kay. You can take yourself on mute. There you go.
Sorry, I never have done this before.
No worries. No worries.
It's a proposal, and everybody is up in arms.
Uh-huh.
And he has been trying to explain locally the benefits, and he's leaving things out. In an area where they're saying it's building, it's zoned, I believe, commercial, but what the problem is part of the area is Polk County, and part of the area is Lakeland city limits.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to have a rezoning, but he's trying to explain that it's not near neighborhoods the way that he's getting on there, and it is near neighborhoods. So people are really not happy about it.
Well, so I know that people aren't happy about it. So let me just explain the way that this came about. Like I said, this is somebody that I'm just an acquaintance with. I met them through a mutual friend. I would say 8 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. And haven't talked to them. Like, we're just Facebook friends. Like we don't have any interaction. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I know that we don't agree on a lot politically, which is fine. Because we're acquaintances, you know what I mean? And so like, we're just whatever. And I got a message. Brandy, shut up. So I got a message that just wanted to make sure this was still my contact info. And I said, yeah. And when all he did was say to me that he was involved in in a proposed data center project in Lakeland, Florida. That
It smells like mint.
it does. That's because I'm making you some. She came in here. She said it smells like noodles because I'm making you some. And he just said, that people were up in arms, and he just said that people were, just kind of running off of emotions and the talking points and whatever. And hold on one second. Yeah, somebody was at a festival. That's all that picture
Who's
is.
that person?
Who? This
Name.
person? Her name is Lynette. You know when Tutu does her work on the internet, and we're all trying to kind of get people together to share facts so that we can make things better. She's one of the people that does it with me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyway, and just in this conversation, his verbiage was, he said things like, I just want to give people the facts. People don't really know the truth about this, that, and the other, whatever. And he went on to share that there's a process that they go through. It's like 7 years in the making. And if they don't meet compliance, it doesn't get through. And I said, well, let me just back you up for a second. So here's what I know. Historically speaking, is that oftentimes people don't pass compliance measures and they still get things to go through. Oftentimes, right? I have that situation near me. And I said, and what I would also say is that while you're saying you want to give people the facts and the truth, when people turn on their water and their water is brown or doesn't exist, that is also a fact and a truth. It just might not be yours, it's theirs. And I said, so, here's the thing, truth can be subjective. Facts are not. Facts are facts, right? And I said, so I'm just a bit of and he said, well, that's an interesting story. And I said, hold on a second. Do you see the difference? I said, what I just said to you, when you were talking to me, you used the word, you're going to tell me facts and you're going to tell me the truth. And when I told you something that I know firsthand has happened, you called it a story. You don't get to say that what you say is a fact and what I'm saying is a story. Like, that's not the way that it gets to go. And so, anyway, the bottom line is, he thinks that coming on here and discussing this with me would be a way for him to get out information that he thinks that people should have, right? And this is me. I'm fine having this conversation with you. It's going to be a fact-based conversation, and it's not going to be you get to come on and tell people what you want to hear with absolutely no accountability or no pushback or no whatever. Like, it's going to be a conversation, period. So, and I'm actually game for the conversation. I don't know how often you get to have an actual developer on social media in front of everybody answering questions and talking about it. You know what I mean? So what I asked him to do was to send me, so these aren't, but this one's not in Georgia, Melly Mel, but I asked him to send me the documents that he had and all of the stuff that he has. So that'll be my homework for the next 36 hours is to review that stuff. I'll dig in and do a little additional research, pull in other things. Y'all know, do what I need to do and to make sure. And so, like I said, and this may be, like I said, this may be part one of a multiple part conversation. I don't know yet, because it's just something that I didn't get a hard no not to do. There's no harm in me doing it. Hold on, I don't want to burn her noodles, y'all. There's no harm in me doing it because it doesn't change anything for me, right? Like, we're gonna have a conversation, and that's gonna be that. I'm just gonna be honest and transparent with everybody. My initial response to data centers is I don't like them. I think that if data centers were such a great thing for people, they wouldn't be being snuck through. People wouldn't be finding out about them a year or two after the fact. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that we would be where we are if they were this grand, amazing, beneficial thing that didn't cause harm. And the other thing that I don't believe in doing is passing the buck. There you go, sissy. So yeah, and there's one or two things that he said that I don't want to discuss right now because I want to leave them for the conversation. Because it already tells me like what a couple of his positions are. So
I just really think we don't need 5,000 data centers in the United States. It's about control, and it's about robots, and it's about they're going to hook them up to the flock cameras. And Ford, I was reading an article that Ford just did a new patent about their new vehicles coming out, that when you get into that vehicle and it decides by looking at your irises that you're too tired or you're too upset to drive, that it won't start.
yeah, so my thing is so I think there's two parts of I think there's two parts of this conversation, right? I think one is what do you think about the technology that data centers are being used to support and promote and whatever, right? That's one part. The other side is about the impact of data centers on the communities where they are being put, right? I think those are the two different.
The noise, the migraines,
Mhm.
the heart problems that they're saying that it's going to cause, all kinds of things, anxiety.
Right. And so I think I think those are two different sides to the conversation. And so I hear a lot of people talking about China is building theirs in the ocean. I don't even think that's a great idea. We act like ocean life doesn't matter. Like I just am just like I have questions and hesitations about all of it. Right? I have questions about all of it. And one of the things that gets me about this is that we don't seem to know as human beings when to stop or when enough is enough. Like here's my thing. At what point do we need to say we're good with where we are? Who are we racing against? Who are we competing with? Who are we trying to outdo? What are we, you know what I'm saying? Probably Scotty. And that's one of the issues that I have with us as human beings. I don't know if you all saw, but there's a dude right now who's talking about this. What's his name? Claude. Is that Claude's name? Do y'all know the AI thing I'm talking about, Claude?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm over here watching this thing where there's a guy and they are doing this research into Claude, right? And they gave it a simulation. And the simulation was they gave it Anthropic, yes. And so here's the thing. They gave it a fake scenario. They gave Claude a fake scenario that there were people in the company that wanted to get rid of Claude, that wanted to eliminate Claude. And at the same time, they gave this person like a fake email address at the company, fake emails and everything. And part of the fake part of this person was that this person was also having an affair with somebody in the company and didn't want their spouse or whatever to know. And so Claude took all of this information about this fake scenario, and in an effort to try to save itself, said, you've got 5 minutes to wipe all this shit clean or I'm outing your affair to your wife. Like Claude was operating from a place of self-preservation, which how the fuck is that even real if you don't have, right? If you're not self, if you're not a human being, you shouldn't have self-preservation. And so this is one of the things that they are literally exploring. And I literally go, what the fuck am I watching? Am I watching, what was the house, y'all, when we were, so like, I'm Gen X, y'all. I'm Gen X. I've seen these movies. I've seen these movies where all of a sudden the house is smarter than everybody else in it. Smart house, right, pedal. Right, I've seen these movies. And so I immediately go, what are y'all doing? And so basically what they're saying is that because it is based off of a human's brain, that the same way a human's brain fires on neurons and receptors like that, is it's the same, it's similar. And I'm just like, y'all, this is why people laugh. This is why I don't have Alexa in this bitch. And I don't talk to Siri's ass.
Me neither.
They're not here. And don't get me wrong, I have a smartphone and a TV, you know what I mean? But other than that, I just think that there's this balance, everything in moderation. And I think that there's a particular group of people, historically speaking, men, rich white men, historically, more accurately speaking, who do not know how to do anything in moderation. Cheryl, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, that's part of what you're hitting on it. Well, as far as where I'm at with it, I'm not afraid of AI. What I'm afraid of is the people you're talking about handling it. You know, they're wanting to rush to be ahead, to be ahead of other countries, to be so fast. My husband and I, we have conversations about AI constantly because my husband works in IT. I call him my IT guru because he's one of the few people.
I've heard you say that.
Little of everything, you know, because most people specialize in areas. My husband specializes in lots of areas, and he's totally against this too. So we're not against the AI per se, because as a disability advocate, I see the benefits of accessibility and also accommodations and things that help people with disabilities with AI. It is definitely there. The issue is how we go about it. We've got people who don't believe in regulations, who just want to be rich, who want to start everything over. And that's what concerns my husband. You know, he's not concerned about it taking his job, given all the different areas he works in, but he already sees in his line of career how AI is making his job harder, not better, and how it's affecting other workplaces. Like, for instance, he was telling me yesterday that the person his company was bought by a larger company, right? Mm-hmm. And the larger company was reaching out to him for things they want to implement. The person talking to him knew nothing about the program that was completely done by AI, knew nothing of what it was going to do and what it was going to be implementing and the problems it was going to cause within all the satellite companies. And my husband's having to teach this person what's going to happen, how to do it, and about the program he's implementing that is AI. And that's because the people they have come in doing these jobs, they pay them less. They have no knowledge because, you know, AI will just do it all. Yeah. And that's not how this works. So it's like the putting, you know, what's the saying, putting the wagon before the horse or something?
The cart before the horse, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm terrible at saying.
No, girl, you had it. Same difference, wagon, cart.
But that's part of the problem. So, and we don't need this access of centers. That's the other thing my husband explains to me. Is like, we don't need this many to do what we need to do with it. So we need to slow this down. We need to have more regulation, and we need to have actual experts in the field. That the important part here, with good morals and ethics for the people who are doing this. And that's the difference. Because you'll talk to some IT people and other people who are all for it. But the difference is you got to know that person. What are they like with their morals and ethics for others? Mm-hmm. You know? So it's frustrating. And they are sneaky. I have one that they're working on next door to me. Literally, I mean, it's 4 miles. I could walk. I'm surrounded by a nature preserve. I live in a neighborhood that is plopped in. It's been here for forever. There's 1,700 houses in there, but we are surrounded by nothing but nature. My entire neighborhood is full of creeks. It's literally named after creeks. And water and wildlife, and we have all of it. The plant, there was an old battery plant about 4 miles down the road that closed literally due to people unaliving from working in this plant. The whole land is toxic. And we're supposed to have people come in here and digging all that up and putting in a data center. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But the place is apparently pending for sale already. And it was advertised for a data center only. Like, literally, that's how they advertised it, the realtor. And since then, they've taken it off as pending once everybody started checking it out and getting mad and angry. And they changed the description of who they're selling it to. I can't say that the sale didn't go through or anything, but I don't trust them. Because they won't take calls. They won't get information. Nothing. I think they're trying to make it disappear until the cell goes through. But who knows? So yeah, it's to me, it's how it's being done more than anything else, and where they just literally will let them go almost anywhere.
Yeah. So I will tell you this. I literally just found out about a data center that was approved where I'm at. And people are just now finding out that it was approved, but it was approved 2 years ago.
Ooh.
And here's the thing. So sometimes folks, if there is no rezoning that needs to be done, if there's no whatever that needs to be done, there's a lot of times that you just won't know. They feel like you don't have to know. You don't need to know. And so it's going to be, like I said, I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form on data centers. However, I am down to have a conversation about it. You know what I mean? And I, like I said, I got the info that I asked for ahead of time. Yeah.
I'm willing to bet the person who's going to be talking is also not an expert in data centers, to be quite honestly. So
no, just in real estate development.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just in real estate development. And so just from the developer's perspective. And so for me, that doesn't necessarily answer the questions or the issues that have arisen when it comes to the data centers. You know what I mean? So
Sin was asking why so many. Why so many is because people with money are jumping on this train.
Yep.
They're going to get in while they can, get what they can out of it. They don't care what it does.
And what was the one? So gosh, I saw this thing the other day. It was on a More Perfect Union. And it was something to the effect of, and it was saying that there was a point in time where it was going to be these canalways that were going to be like the biggest, hottest thing, whatever. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. And so everybody was building them all over the place. And then all of a sudden it didn't happen. And now we're just stuck with a bunch of half-built canals all over the country. And then it goes, this was a post about data centers. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Not me accidentally unplugging myself. Yes, me accidentally unplugging myself. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see if I can find it now.
And give you an intermission while you're looking, but you'd lose half of your people watching.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think here's my thing, right? Like I said, I'm interested in the conversation because I think that it's important. I will also say this. In my humble opinion, I think that the folks behind data centers are a little more terrified than maybe they were previously now that Erin Brockovich has made them her focal point. Because just the name brings a level of awareness that I think they would have liked to avoid. You know what I mean? I think that that's probably something that they weren't. It's really, really crazy. The number of them that are operational, built and running, those that are under construction, those that are proposed, which are in a pipeline or pending approval, and those that are being reported by the community as either existing or being somewhere in the pipeline. The map is insane. If you haven't been on her website and seen the map, the community reported are people being concerned about them. It's real wild. But yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I do think it's I think it's a race, and I think whenever we race to something, we lose. I do. I just think that we lose overall. Motormouth, I agree that this is a race. Yes, Mr. Global did say that it is likely to increase electric bills. Yep. There's something really wrong with us. There's something wrong with us. We'll say, you all. Okay. Before Cheryl, you're free to hang out or dip, whatever you want to do. Let me go Scarlett and then Hill. I don't know if Scarlett even knew that you were up here. There you go.
I did. I knew. I was just waiting for you to stop talking because I get really highly annoyed when people interrupt you. It really pisses me off in the comments, and I have a really hard time maintaining my composure. Actually, this morning I was screaming almost at the phone while driving my son to work when you were dealing with Mr. Nonsense.
Yeah.
I've been in your lives for months and months and months and just never been able to come up. And so I don't expect you to know who I am. A lot of people in your community know who the heck I am. But I was really, really, really trying hard to not crash my car screaming at that
Don't
man.
crash.
If he did not shut up.
I didn't know you were awake. I could do it for you now.
Interrupting you, it's like the rudest thing on the face of the planet to interrupt somebody like that.
1 second. Yeah, I didn't see you and I didn't know. And I had Mila check, and the one time that Mila checked, you were not. I'm just saying, son. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Don't be sorry. Women should not apologize for shit in this day and age. We apologize way too much for crap. So you should not, my friend, apologize for shit.
I agree with that. I'll take that.
I'm just saying. People who know me can tell you in my lives and in my store that I own, my people are not allowed to apologize for anything if they are a woman or a female presenting person. Hi, Cindy. Thank you. So I just wanted to comment on something that you were mentioning earlier about white women. And I'm not going to be real right now. I don't agree with you at all about the 10-year thing. I'm sorry. White women do not get 10 years. They don't get ever. I'm sorry. We don't get ever. We are part of the problem. And just like we as women don't want to hear any man go, not all men, we as white women do not have the right to ever say not all white women. Because until it's none of us, it's all of us. And this concept that, just because we're doing the work or we're doing this or whatever, I don't give a fuck, because time and time again, what have white women proven? That when the going gets tough or when it's convenient or when they're tired, oh my goodness, God forbid you be tired, they turn around. So I really just respectfully, combat veteran to combat veteran, which is one reason why I started watching you over a year ago, was because you were a fellow veteran. When white women stop being the problem, then maybe we can have some feelings about these things. I'm sorry, but too many times, white women have not voted the way they should. They have not done the work. They're not willing to put their bodies on the lines, but then they've got comments about black and brown women. So there's just, sorry. I respectfully got to disagree with your 10-year time frame.
But I appreciate, and here's the thing. So things that I appreciate so much about that conversation and that piece is that, so the same way that I say things about black and brown people, especially when it comes to homophobia and transphobia, that's an area that my community has an issue with. And I know that, right? I know that. And so the same way I think it's my responsibility to do that heavy lifting in that space, I'm always appreciative when a white woman is standing up and doing the work and holding accountability in that space. Because to me, that is how we move progress. That's how we make progress, and that's how we move things forward 100% all day, every day. And I really want people, Scarlett, I don't think that people understand how close we are.
Oh, we are so close. I mean, I love your 2-year plan, girl. I mean,
if we weren't that close, they wouldn't be this fucking desperate.
That part right there. That part right there.
Yeah, if we were not that close.
Yeah. Yep. No, full stop. I mean, and I will tell you the second reason I followed you over a year ago was because of your stance on transphobia and homophobia. I am super proudly, and I promise you, everybody in the chat, I'm not outing her. She is public, she is out, but I am extremely proud to be the mom of a 15-year-old brown transgender daughter. And I cannot co-opt her experience. Just because I gave birth to her does not mean that I know what it's like to live as a brown woman, to live as a trans woman, to live as a lesbian brown trans woman. And so often when I go into spaces that are supposed to be progressive or supposed to be left or liberal, I very quickly hear things that are clearly homophobic and transphobic. And I would walk in front of a bus for my daughter,
Yeah.
So I really, really appreciate your extremely loud stance on that. And like you said, calling your own people to account. And I think that's really, really, really important. We have to call our own people to account.
Yes.
And I will call white men to account too. Trust me, I am not scared of them. I will call their asses out happily, no problem. And I will use I'm a practicing witch, so I will use my spells to deal with them if I need to.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. So, and the data center thing, we just had that issue here. I live in a very red county of a very blue state. I live in Illinois, and we packed our city. Thank you, Cindy. We packed our city council. We told them to basically go themselves, and they didn't listen to us, and they voted for it anyway. But we continued fighting back, even though they voted for it anyway, to where now we've actually got them on a 6-month moratorium, and we're trying to get it more permanently, because they wanted to pump CO2 underneath our only water source.
Yeah.
A lake that we've already had issues with maintaining the levels. We already have to ration water in the summers, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it's absolute insanity. And yeah, it's absolute insanity.
Yeah. So, and here's my thing about this is, you said something that irritates me because you're not the only one. There are so many places that the people are saying no, and the powers that be think they don't have to listen.
Yeah, we are kind of controlled here by Buffett. That's the Buffett family controls our entire city council people, the mayor, and everybody. And Buffett actually was our sheriff for a while, no experience whatsoever. They just put him in as our sheriff. It's absolute corporate billionaire became our sheriff for it's mind blowing. Looking at your face,
Come on.
yes, your face is saying everything that your mouth is.
My face be facing. My face be facing. It does.
Yeah, your face be facing. My face always be facing. That was the one good thing about COVID, was that I could hide my face from facing.
Yeah, my face be facing. I think that, so here's the thing that I really want people to understand is, I want people to stop putting us into it's like there's not just one group that is the problem. There are the places and the points of intersectionality.
Right.
And everyone needs to get the fuck on board with all of the places and the points of intersectionality and who they are and where the problems exist. Okay. So just a second ago, I was giving one when I was talking about the MAGA Tea Party, the extreme conservative mandate that is on the GOP side, right? That intersects with FBA and BLAGA, right?
Right.
That intersects with, you see what I'm saying, guys? That intersects with the fragile white woman issue. That intersects, there's all these different points of intersectionality, and everyone is on board with this because of this agenda that you believe that you have that is for your best interest. And what you don't understand is most of you don't even agree on the rest of the fucking agenda. Some of you don't even know what the agenda is for all the other groups that are part of the agenda. And none of it is for the vast majority of people. None of it actually works for the vast majority of people. And that's the part that really irritates my soul. And when I tell you all, as sure as I'm sitting here, I sit back sometimes And so conversations I have with my VA therapist is none of my life is helpful for my PTSD. None of it. Like this right here, not helpful. Not helpful. Well, when you piss off really rich, powerful, whatever, not helpful. And nothing I can do about it. I could not be me. Like I cannot not like I can't be anything other than this, because there's absolutely no way that this fuckery can stand. Y'all, do y'all really understand that? I want you all to understand. Please don't let them placate you by allowing you to be able to go on a small family vacation, and maybe you can eat out every now and again, and maybe it's just not as bad as whatever. Please don't be placated by them selling you, well, at least it's not as bad as it could be. At least, this is why I want people to stop saying it's like fucking Handmaid's Tale, because the moment that it's not Handmaid's Tale, you'll think it's okay, and it's not.
It's not. That's one reason why your 2-year plan is so important, because it keeps going after the 2-year plan. You can't get complacent, and that's the issue with most white people, really, is that they're very lazy about their politics. They're very lazy about their way of life, and they're very lazy about doing shit to make it better. They just want to blame everybody else instead of doing the hard fucking work. And that's why then they turn around when the going gets tough, because they're so lazy about it. And I do understand that a lot of that is brainwashing through the public school system. I was a public school teacher for 4 years before I opened my fabric shop. So I was a public school teacher teaching history, but I taught it the right way. I lived and worked in an area where we agreed upon as a department to teach history the right way, to not teach the whitewashed version. We departed from the McGraw-Hill textbook and actually taught real fucking history, but so many people have not been taught real fucking history. But the thing is, at some point you got to say, oh, you know what? I'm a grown ass person. So now let me take it upon myself to open a book and read, to watch a documentary and listen with the ears that you have attached to your head, Anyway, I'm going to say one thing to Linda, and then I'll drop down because my store is about to open, and I don't want to interrupt your live in the way that it would be by having customers walk in my store. But Linda, I was already told that I am required to do that by the campaign manager for Jennifer Todd, who is going to be beating Marjorie Taylor Greene's doppelganger in my area. Her name is Mary Miller in Illinois District 15. But I was informed by Jennifer Todd's campaign manager that I am required to run for office in 3 years when my children graduate high school. So yes, ma'am, that is already apparently in the works. And I was told that I do not have a choice. So yes, Linda, come on.
I love that. Hey, sister, will you get me some water? No, I appreciate you very, 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 very much. And you know what's funny about this community? So so when people try to pin down like who the people are in this community, it's so crazy. Yeah. Because we have such a wide spectrum, from agnostics and atheists to Christians to Muslims to you name it in this community, and we have it. And that to me is probably one of the greatest indicators that we are doing it right, is because it's so diverse, it's so different, it's so whatever. And so that I really love. So
well, and that's because that's how you establish the environment. You engender that environment yourself. That's exactly the way my live stream is when I'm live streaming on Whatnot. That's the way it is when I'm on Zoom with all my clients. It's the way it is in my actual physical store, because we set the tone. When you set the tone, right, then people respond accordingly. And you, ma'am, set that tone. And it's an honor to be in your space. You do not have to give of yourself intellectually or the emotional currency. And you do it day in and day out with a patience of Job. And I don't even believe in the Bible, because there is no way in hell that I would be able to put up with some of the crap you do on this panel. So I'm glad you have a therapist.
Me too.
Girl, I hope you touch some damn grass and ground sometimes, because holy shit. Holy shit.
When I listen, and the garden's outside, and it's a lot, but no, Scarlett is a force. So I love that. which we need to get together and give a soil break. We need to get together and we got to have a subscribers like a Saturday morning. We haven't done a Saturday morning subscribers get together in a minute, so we got to do that. But no, I appreciate that. Yes, love that. Thank you, Scarlett.
You're welcome. All right, I'll see you later, love.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Hill, you said you had a question for me.
Yes, Dani. Hi. Good morning, or wherever you are.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
And I'm really glad we sort of made it back to the topic that I wanted to talk to you about, having to do with white women and having to do with different intersectionalities when it comes to marginalized folks and advocacy for those folks. And so I'm part of the LGBTQI community. I'm a non-binary trans masked person. They, them are my pronouns. And yesterday I got into a space and had a conversation with a younger man. He may have been my age, but he sounded younger. And the way the conversation went is that the topic was, do you support the patriarchy, right? And or how do you support the patriarchy? How are you unconsciously supporting the patriarchy? And I'm under no illusions. I know that blind spots that I have, that I'm unconsciously supporting the patriarchy, and whether it's gender roles, whether it's whatever, right? Like I've been punched in the gut with some internal misogyny and homophobic tendencies, transphobic tendencies, even though I'm part of the community, right? I know that I have internal racism. Anyway, just to give you a little bit of background, that I was talking about that, and I was talking about how to have conversations with people in spaces and how those conversations could go. Now, I also agree with you 1,000% that when it comes to, and I really agree with you on this, that it's cisgender white heterosexual folks that are responsible for just like dismantling homophobia or transphobia, right? And that goes for I think cisgender, any folks, doesn't even necessarily have to be white.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that conversation ended up going was, and I'm also under no illusions that the root of oppression of marginalized folks comes from the root, which is oppression of Black folks. Mm-hmm. That is what I believe. But the way that he and so I guess I'm asking your opinion about what he said is that when I'm in a space and I'm trying to talk to men about the patriarchy, because I'm mask presenting, there are certain men who believe that they can talk to me about women in a certain derogatory way, right? And I feel like as a mask presenting person, I still have a responsibility to call out the misogyny, call out the locker room talk, whatever it is. Because of the way I present, I receive a certain amount of privilege from that.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I'm like Hispanic, right? But when I fill out the census, I check the white box. Like I am a white person.
Right.
Okay, I'm under no illusions with that too. Okay, so after all that background, he was saying to me, and this was a younger Black man, and I'm asking you because I respect your opinion. He said to me that in those conversations that I need to start at the root in order to get rid of all the marginalization, from whether it's white Christian nationalism, patriarchy, homophobia, transphobia. And I guess my question is like in that moment where I'm talking to somebody about misogyny, like where do I get back to that root? Right?
So say this. So help me. And I did not touch my phone. Y'all heard that was my daggone phone holder again, taking its own damn selfie. I'm like, why does it do that? Okay. So if you can share with me what he said, what you said, and what he said, and then that way I can go.
Okay. I'm going to do my best to remember. And it's been weighing on me, and that's why I wanted to talk to you. I trust your opinion.
No worries.
And not that I don't trust an opinion from another person of color, right? That's I think why it's been weighing.
I got you.
I got onto the panel, and they were talking about the patriarchy, and I started talking about intersectionality and how it's the people who are on the other side of that marginalization to call out all of those comments or ideologies or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
And he said to me was that that's simply putting a Band-Aid. And I don't disagree. That's just band-aiding the branches. You're not getting to the root of the problem. And I don't disagree with him, but like, how do we, if that's the conversation we're having, why am I going to, if it's transphobia, why am I going to shut down that conversation to go directly to being anti-racist within that conversation to dismantle transphobia? Like, I know eventually we'll have to get there, but like, and that's what he said to me, and I was really confused, and I wanted to, like, maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, so like to me, I would not. So like to me, if I am okay, so so what? Okay. So I don't.
His issue was that I was just tending to the branches and not the root.
Yeah, but I don't attribute the root cause of transphobia and homophobia to be racism. Because Black folk can't be racist, but they're transphobic and homophobic as fuck a lot of the times.
Right. Well, and so I'm not talking about necessarily Black folks being transphobic or homophobic. I'm talking about when I'm having conversations with people who are the oppressors.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. So like, but if they're saying, so what are they saying is the root cause for transphobia and homophobia?
Well, what the argument is that nobody is free until we're all free, and we start that with Black folks. And I don't disagree with that.
What do you mean? Okay, so let me just make sure that I'm understanding, because this is the way that I pictured what you just said to me in my head. Y'all know I'm neurodivergent as fuck, but in my head, here's what I pictured. So do you all remember? Okay, so how many of you guys saw the movie Kiss the Girls with Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman? Y'all know the movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was based on a book by
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name right now.
So see, okay, great. Okay, so no, I did pulmonology. Okay, so follow me. All right, so this is the way in my brain when I hear that, because you said in order for us to do one, and before we free everybody, we gotta free Black people, because that's where it started first, right? And so this is my thing. Okay, so in this movie, I'm gonna paint a picture for those of y'all who haven't seen the movie. Okay, in this movie, Ashley Judd is down in this like cave, basically. It's this underground bunker that this guy has all of these women that he has taken hostage, and he's basically collecting the women, right? They all have different talents and abilities, and they're all in these rooms. Okay. If you're an animal lover, I'll give it to you like this. Let's just say that you are going into a horrible pound, and there are all different types of animals that are locked in cages, or all these different women. Do we literally, in our effort to free the people, do we go past everybody else that is locked up, that is marginalized, that is being discriminated? Do we just walk past those people, and do we not address the harm being done to them? If I have the ability to shine a light on this particular cage, if I have the ability to open the cage as I go past it, why the fuck would I not open the cage? This idea that we have to start with Black people is crazy to me, because, by the way, there are some people, you will never get to Black people if you don't go with white people, women, LGBTQIA people first. There are some.
And I wasn't trying to argue with him, but that was my point of view of like, why not tend to the branches?
Yeah, no, you attend to everybody. Listen, there's no hierarchy in freedom. The whole point is if I give a damn and I want everyone to be free, so to speak, right? Then I free them as I encounter them.
I agree. It's not the oppression Olympics.
Yeah, and there are some people, by the way, that will never get to the place where they can envision all Black and brown people being free until they have seen it play out in any of these other marginalized areas. Period, folks. And by the way, there is no wrong way to fucking free. Like this idea that it just...
I hear what you're saying, and I sat in some uncomfortability when we were talking about it, just because I do my best to speak on behalf of, not on behalf, but in defense of any marginalized group, right? I have a daughter who's ID, who's intellectually disabled, and I have a lot of conversations around that oppressed and marginalized group because I participate in Special Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of conversation about that, and I'm part of the LGBTQI community, and I'm a white Hispanic. I just learned that a few weeks ago, and it gut punched me, right? Like, I'm a white Hispanic. You know what? I just didn't view myself as that growing up where I'm from.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I appreciate your input, because I sat uncomfortable because I thought I was doing something wrong and that I needed to like reorganize my my approach to conversations with people, and I think that, but I had some resistance with that, because I feel like when I do have conversations, I think that I'm going about it in an okay way. Maybe not the greatest way, but I do think that I'm shedding light on certain things. So anyway.
So one of the things that I would offer is that I look at it like this. If I experience resistance to something, right? It's an opportunity for me to explore what's that about. Now, it could very well be about my own ego and about my own whatever. It could also be about some bullshit patriarchal white supremacist shit that's been indoctrinated in me forever. Like, there's a whole lot of things that can cause you to have resistance to a sentiment or a suggestion or whatever. So the feeling that you get isn't an indicator that you're right or wrong. It's that there's something to explore. And maybe the only thing that you're about to explore and uncover is that this is a belief that no longer serves you, or this is somebody else's belief that doesn't serve you. Like, it's just an opportunity for you to be able to evaluate and go, where does this fit in my puzzle box, right? Where does this piece fit? And maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just goes in my toy box, but it doesn't fit my puzzle. You know what I mean? And so I think it's really, number one, I think it's great to be able to say, ooh, I feel some sort of way about that, because that's awareness. That is self-awareness, and that is how we grow. That is how we become better. That is how we evolve, right? But number two, the thing that's even more important is like, okay, deciphering for myself, where does that fit, if it fits for me at all, right? If it fits for me at all. And I think that one of the things that I have an issue with is when people want to check other people's how can I say this? So to me, there's a lot of reasons you don't go for the roots first sometimes, folks. There's a lot of reasons you don't go straight to the roots, right? There's benefit to trimming back. There's so many different things. Yes, baby girl. Yes, you can go on the porch. So no, I just say, how do we take back the power given to the patriarchy? So, and that's not even, you didn't even ask me, but you said it in my chat. And so this is my thing. They don't have it. They don't have any power, not real power. If they did, they would not need to manipulate the systems. If they had real power, they would be able to lead from a place of strength and nurturing and caring and guidance, not right, and not force. That's not real. That's not real power. That's not real power. These jokers are not powerful at all. And so for me, I'm less interested in figuring out how to take something from you as I am in learning how to walk in my own. The more that women, the more that the matriarchy, the more that the maternal side of this, right, figures out how to walk in their own power, the other will recede. It will go away. It will cower, it will submit, it will do what it does. Like I'm less. So this is the thing, y'all. We talk about this from the Heritage Foundation, from the Conservative Manifesto perspective all the time. And we talk about how they don't spend time worrying about us and what to do with us. They worry about what to do with themselves. They worry about what to do with themselves. So we have to focus on what to do in our power. How do we walk in our strength? How do we build up our communities? How do we put together our connection? How do we plan our work? And then how do we work that plan? Because when we do that part, the other part automatically happens. Right?
I definitely agree with you on that. And I am active in my communities. And one thing that I've decided to do, and taking this from kind of what you talk about when you talk about our circles of influence.
Mm-hmm.
So I've shared with you before that I'm also a recovering addict, right? And so I participate in a 12-step fellowship where there's a lot of different ideas about a lot of different things. And outside of those actual meetings, I encounter people who are not familiar with the way that I live my life authentically.
Mm-hmm.
And so my motivation, and this just happened recently because I was definitely resistant to even talking to folks like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that showed any kind of bigotry in their nature. And my goal now is to humanize myself to those people and talk to them about my personal experience, so that maybe if they see me, it might crack open just enough for them to see other trans people and other LGBTQI folks and just change a little bit of a perspective. So
yeah,
I always love from you, and that's taken a lot of courage on my part, not to like pat myself on the back, but it's a turned corner. I was so
yes, to pat yourself on the back. There's nothing wrong with patting yourself on the back, folks. Pat yourself on the back. There are so many people who are shitty human beings because they are too scared to do their own work. So I just want to say that if you are someone that is exploring who you are, if you are someone that is digging in and doing your own work, fucking A, pat yourself on the back. Yes.
I do most of the time, and when I say that, it comes from a place of shame, right? The shame complex of like where I don't deserve.
Yes.
I don't deserve to give myself compliments or talk good about myself because. And that's these are core issues that I'm also deconstructing, right?
100%.
There's so much work to do. And every time I think I figured some shit out, Dani, I'm like, I didn't figure out nothing.
Oh, but you did. So listen, let me just tell you. So I want to just leave you this from what you did. So listen, the moment that you master a thing and a new thing comes up, it's not that you didn't know anything before. Right? It's like, oh, you shifted this thing enough for the next piece of the puzzle to be shown. You don't know where you need to go until you begin to clear the way. And so don't discount the work that you've done, right? Understand that your next step would not be revealed had you not done the work that you need to do. You did learn something, you did do something, you do know something. There's just more to know. And you didn't know that you didn't know it until now.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So I love that. And I appreciate you being transparent. But yeah, I love everything about this conversation. Y'all know that this is the me kind of deal, right? To me, this is the intersections of the politics, policy, and people is the individual work that we all have to do together. As like we all have individual work that we have to do so that when we come together as a collective, we don't create a shitty society like the one that we have.
Right.
Right. If you don't like the systems that we have, understand that those systems are a direct reflection of who we are as a whole ass society. I just want y'all to sit. I say this all the time, but just sit. We could have created anything and we made up fucking FICO scores. Right? You could have done anything and FICO scores is what you thought was good? Like, I don't know, deeds and overdraft fees and what in the world? Who thought this was great? Right? And those interest rates, yes. And interest rates, get this, charge the people with the least the most. How about that to make sense? Let's create a financial industry that penalizes poor people to make sure they stay poorer. And we'll give 0 interest rates to the people that could afford 50% interest rates because that's smart. That tells you something about the people that made the systems and why those people need to no longer be in charge of the systems. And I'm so serious when I say that. So let me give you all a little bit of clarity because I'm shifting and I'm kind of like moving my day along because my day is being fluid. All right. So listen. So yeah, go ahead.
My last piece, and then I got to jump off because I got to get to working. But
yeah,
I appreciate you having a conversation with me. I love your space. I did just sign up for Project for the People. I didn't think that I could make the commitment because I got so much other stuff happening.
Yes, you can.
But I'm gonna fit it in.
Yeah.
Fit it in. And I want to open up my inbox and just I'm trying to humanize myself to people and do my part. And so if anybody in the chat has questions about my journey, about trans people, about my community, please reach out. I'm open to any questions. Like I'm an open book. I'm not afraid to talk about who I am.
I love that. So listen, just so everybody knows, Project for the People is not about adding anything onto your plate. Project for the People is about adding seasoning to the food already on your plate. I'm not asking you to eat no more. I'm not asking you to pick up an extra plate. All I'm saying is you got to live life every day. So figure out how to integrate this into your everyday life. Now, for some people, some people will be like, shit, I can hold another plate. By all means, pick your ass up another plate. But if you are someone that you are like, listen, my plate is full to over. My plate looks like Thanksgiving Day every day. Don't add anything extra. Don't add anything. Just listen, Project for the People is just going to be a little extra seasoning. That's all it is. Or Project for the People is going to be your drink that washes your food down. And we can talk about more about that later. So, yes, I love that, Hill. And I appreciate you greatly. Really, I do. So listen, here's what's happening. I did not know that tomorrow I'm going to have to take Miss Bella to a new specialist, but apparently I am. I just got the message. And that means that I won't be able to be live tomorrow morning. I already wasn't live for a couple of days this weekend because my body was not being nice to me. So here's what that means. That means I'm going to have to pivot and I'm going to have to do a second live today. So what does that look like for me? That means what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this live a little short right now. We've been on for about 3.5 hours. I'm going to cut it short now so that I can feed them, feed me, get done whatever I need to get done, plan for dinner tonight. And then I can come back for an evening live here so that I don't have to worry about tomorrow when I have to drive itty bitty girl to her specialist. Okay. That makes sense, people. So it'll be a second live today. And probably, what time is Love Island, Cam? I'm going to need you to get it together. No, I have a date with my damn self, the boss. What you mean? What time is Love Island, Cam? Before 9 p.m. 10 p.m. my time is when it comes on. So yes, it will be before that. I cannot at y'all around Love Island. Let me tell y'all need to figure out how to weave Love Island into Project for the People graphics and talking points. That's what y'all need to do. Because as hyped up as y'all be about Love Island, I need y'all to make that shit work for Project for the People. 100%. Okay? So listen, right, I'm just saying. It's a reality TV show. Scotty, if you don't know, you ain't missing nothing. It's okay. It's okay. All right, so listen, I do want to talk. Okay, so tonight I am going to talk to you all about the cuts to WIC. And we are going to talk about the 4 Democrats that voted along with the Republicans to make that bullshit happen. We are going to talk about that. And we are going to talk about poverty rates in the country. We are going to talk about Iran and Israel. I don't know if you all have saw the massive exchange of boom booms that have been happening, but we are going to talk about that as well in the United States of America. And there was something else. Not me. You know what? And y'all going to think this is a weird thing. I do want to talk about Hunter Biden. I want to talk about Hunter Biden, but not to talk about Hunter Biden. I want to talk about the voice and what he is able to say and do right now. Yeah, I do. I want to talk about Hunter Biden, which might surprise the people, right? But I do. Because I think Hunter has just said, my daddy's not in office no more. FAFO if you want to. And Hunter said, ain't shit. Do y'all know the freedom that comes when someone doesn't have anything to hide? Because you've literally explored every nook and cranny that you could possibly, and there's nothing left that you could find, right? Follow me. So, yeah, baby. Yeah, I'll play it with you in just a second. She's playing a game.
I'm going to show you the song.
Oh, you're going to show me the song? So listen, Hunter Biden for me is when you like the colonoscopy is no longer scary when you finish the prep. There's nothing left to hide. So Hunter's like, fuck it, let's go. And I am here for it. He's like, let's go. What? And he literally said, go back. Look at all. But did he not? He said, go look. He said, go look at my entire digital footprint. He said, they have every text, every message, every email that has ever been sent to me across any device that I've ever found. You will never find $1 given to me by this government or a foreign government. Go look it up. I'm here for it, Hunter. Let's go. Because I know some other president's sons that can't. Right. He said, that ain't no pipe. He said, listen. He said, I wouldn't have wasted. He said, I'm going to need you to know how the tools work because that ain't that. He said, I never did coke. I did crack. But anyway, okay. I love y'all, mean it. I know you're going to say, well, Dani, what time are you going to come back? Don't make me lie and give you a specific time, but I will give you a goal. I will give you a goal. My goal is to be back at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my goal. That gives me 4.5 hours to feed them, do some work, and whatever. Yes, before Love Island. Okay? So, all right. I love you, mean it. I will see you all then, and then we will dig in and do the rest. I actually have a clip that I want to play from Hunter Biden when we come back. So we will talk about it then. All right? True. All right. Love y'all, mean it. See you later. Bye.